Hello, and you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you can download podcasts. Like, comment, and subscribe. You could also follow us on our Instagram at YSGoat, Facebook at YSGoat, and at Twitter, YSGoat. Thank you. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that.
Baby Yoda.
Baby fucking Yoda.
Okay, that's not a Baby Yoda episode.
No, but
we're going to talk about... Alright, so before we go into that, this is... episode 9 comes out. We've gone through all the Star Wars movies.
Exhaustively, yes.
Yes. And all of them.
All of them.
Ewok Adventures.
Right.
So it's canon.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey.
And the Christmas special.
Right.
We're going to discuss 7 and 8 today.
Together.
Usually we would do each movie, but I just feel like I don't want to do 2 episodes for this.
Yeah.
You've seen enough. I'm sure anyone who's listening to this, you've heard other opinions on 7 and 8. I'm sure you've heard lots of opinions on 8.
Yeah.
There's enough stuff out there. We don't need to do deep dives. I'd rather just talk about them as a whole.
Yep.
Because they are part 1 and 2 of this new trilogy.
They are, absolutely.
And the third one's coming out.
December 20th.
So let's just get there.
Oh, yeah.
And move on to other things. And then obviously we'll talk about 9 when it comes out.
Right. Well, and when you said let's do 7 and 8 together, I was like, that actually makes perfect sense because they're really interesting when you compare and contrast them. Like when you figure out like how they're alike and different.
Talk about them, if we talk about them separately, but if we talk about them together, we could come up with like, is this a cohesive story?
Right.
Or is this really just a massive disconnected stories and 8 and 9 is like really fucked?
Right.
Or has like a lot of work to like make these 2 movies work.
But first, Baby Yoda.
First, Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Okay. Or The Mandalorian.
Well, yeah, right, sure.
Okay, so I have Disney Plus. I'll be straight up honest with you. I don't really watch it too much. I've watched, at first, I'm glad they fixed the resume feature. It didn't have one. I was like watching Endgame, and every time I put it on, I'm like, I had to restart it.
Really? I didn't know that.
They fixed it. The resume feature is on there.
Okay,
Were you just watching it straight through?
No, well, I've only watched with my young daughter High School Musical, the series, which is like 20 minutes long, so I don't need a resume feature. Yeah. And The Mandalorian, which is like a half hour. That's all I've watched. Did you watch
episode 7 on there?
I did watch episode 7, but I watched episode 7 like 2 nights ago or something. So yeah, I mean like,
well, they just it was just like the first couple of days. I think by that first week they had the resume feature fixed.
Yeah, because this is the first time hearing.
I was like, the first couple of days I was like, ooh, this is no good. They fixed it, but honestly, straight out for me at least, the only thing on there as of right now that means anything to me is The Mandalorian.
Right, that's the only thing on television right now that means anything to me.
Well, I think we're at a golden age of TV right now. We got the Baby Yoda show.
Yep.
And The Watchmen.
Yeah.
And those shows are both amazing.
Yeah.
It's The Mandalorian. Starring Baby Yoda.
Right. Well, look.
Or Baby Yoda starring The Mandalorian.
It is. It is. Like, The Mandalorian is fine.
Yeah.
But
when they announced The Mandalorian, I saw pictures of it, I said, okay, it's fake Boba Fett.
Right. Yeah. It's Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
I mean, it looked cool, like the trailers, when they started showing stuff. I was all right, I'm going to give this a chance. But when I started seeing something leaked, and I found out that at the end of the first episode, it's revealed. Spoilers!
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But if you already know what Baby Yoda is, the main thing's already been spoiled for you. First episode, we're not going to go too much into Mandalorian. We're going to wait till the season's over, and we'll do an episode on that.
Sure.
But, like I said, the first episode, you find out that he has a job. It's a big job. Everyone's interested. The client, supposedly, the person he's going for is 50 years old.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Right.
And then when he gets there, he's with this, like, IG-88.
IG-88.
Or IG-11, whatever.
Yeah.
Guess if they call it IG-11, George Lucas doesn't get a nickel or something like that.
That's probably
There's
true,
some weird, like... No, that's IG-11. He has bandoleros on.
Well,
he wears a hat. This is
I never would have
This is Disney's IG-11.
IG-11. I wouldn't have expected IG-88 to talk. to talk.
It sound like the guy from sound like Korg from
What does he need
Thor?
to talk for? What does a mercenary droid need speech capabilities for? You just like do the Dalek exterminate noise and then go for it, right?
Awful.
Okay.
Well, okay. So then they find out it's a baby Yoda.
It's a
man. The amount of fucking diapers that thing must have gone through. 50 years. I mean, that's the first 100 years, and like your diaper bill must be through the roof. It's very small though, so it
is.
Okay, so there's some theory. My theory. I'm not going to go into it. He has to save baby. The show basically turned into what do they call that? Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah, Lone Wolf and Cub. Hard boiled kind of.
Logan, the movie Logan.
Yes, right.
You know, Logan with X-23. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the dynamic. He's basically going to be watching this baby.
Tale as old as time.
And the baby has got powers, as it was revealed, because he's a baby Yoda.
Oh, yeah.
And I get people, I posted like this baby, I made some artwork, and someone said, why does everyone keep calling baby Yoda? He's not Yoda. I'm like, okay, well, we don't know what Yoda's species is, and we don't even know what that name is, but you know what? It's green, and it looks like Yoda. It's Baby Yoda right now. Until they give it a name, Klaatu, or Boda,
sure,
or whatever, it's Baby Yoda.
Well,
and honestly, if they were smart, they would just call it Baby Yoda.
Exactly.
For marketing purposes.
And to anyone
His name's Harry.
Right. To anyone who naysays or brings any sense of, negativity to this, I say fuck you. You know?
You know what? We disagree on everything.
Right.
We get to disagree on climate change.
Exactly. Sure.
Right? On gravity.
Yeah. Open for debate.
Fine. Open debate. Baby Yoda. Fighting words.
That's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. You know?
You know what? Thank God we have a Second Amendment.
Right. That would call for a Second Amendment solution. Baby what?
Baby Yoda. Well, my cold, dead hands.
And I actually think I said this on the last episode we were talking about
the Second Amendment.
Well, yeah, obviously.
We don't like guns.
Yeah, but the thing brings so much joy to me. And did you hear today on Twitter, Werner Herzog?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, they were originally going to CGI Baby Yoda.
I mean, there's some scenes it's clear as CGI.
Sure, yeah.
But overall, I think that's why he's so good.
Yeah.
Is that he is a puppet.
He's a real thing.
That's why, when you watch Mogwais, Gizmo, even if it's, you look at the effects from 1984 and 89, right. It's aged, but there's something tangible and real. You feel like you can pick them up and take them home with you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I've tried.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Baby Yoda is so effective.
Right.
Because it is, this thing that's clearly there.
Yeah.
It's not CGI.
No. It's got weight and heft. I mean, you can tell it's
And it's so weird because CGI is so good now.
Yeah.
And I would have honestly believed that it was CGI. I would have believed it if it was. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this thing's a puppet.
Yeah.
There's something limited in its movements that
mm-hmm.
And yeah, Werner Herzog, what did he say? You're a coward.
Yeah, he said you were
like John Favreau. You're a coward if you do not use puppet Baby Yoda.
Right. Well, good for him, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
I've watched a man be eaten by a bear.
With its bare hands.
But I will not allow a CGI Baby Yoda. So there's some of course I've watched theories on what he is. Everyone's got their little theories. Some think he's a clone. One theory though, and I think we might find this out, is that he is exactly the same age as if Darth Vader was alive.
Okay.
If he didn't die in Return of the Jedi and he existed, I guess 5 years after. What Mandalorian takes place
5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay. If he was alive there, he'd be 50 years old too.
Okay.
He's the same age. They are the same age. And that this is kind of funny though.
Okay.
So, if they are both created the same way, Darth Vader, the theory is that he's like Space Jesus.
Sure,
something.
yeah.
And then I guess in theory, Baby Yoda is Space Jesus too. The Force created him.
Oh, it's a balance?
Yeah, balance. But it's just kind of funny. It just shows you how unbalanced it was. Like, okay, we'll make the dark side like a space human, whatever humans in. I was talking to my son about this. He's like, well, aren't the humans in space aliens also?
Yeah, theoretically, right?
They are. I mean, like, Luke Skywalker would be a freaking alien. Yeah. He might come to Earth. He'd be like, oh, God, because I don't live in this Earth.
This paltry unitary sun.
Yeah, I need 2 suns for my gills.
Right.
Like, I mean, they're not human. But regardless, they live, like, life cycles, whatever the fuck they call it. They say years. I mean, it said hell in Star Wars.
Right.
It's fantasy. Okay, but there are still some rules.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say the Force, the good side and the bad side, let's say if they were actual beings and they made a deal. They're like, okay, we get a good guy and a bad guy. Okay, my good guy is going to be another Yoda, and my bad guy will be a human. And the good side's like, okay, this will work out great. My side lives to like 1,000 years, and yours guy's like lucky if they live like 110.
Right.
But
and he needs
they
machinery.
last like, well, no, this is before
before
they were born.
Right.
This is like the God and the devil like making a deal with each other, and like you're like, okay, so the good side's like, yeah, my guy, the species I'm going to use, they can live to 1,000 years, and the other species is like, yeah, okay, well, fine, I'll use the human one, like the devil side. And they're like, the joke is that the devil side doesn't take 50 years or 100 years not to be a baby.
Yeah,
so while Baby Yoda is a fucking baby,
right?
Still, at 50. Well, I would say he's like the equivalent of like maybe a 2-year-old.
Yeah,
I would say he's like a 1.5, 2-year-old,
right? Something like that
at this point.
That makes sense.
That point, Darth Vader was already dead, but in that lifespan, he helped take over a galaxy.
Oh yeah,
kill billions, if not trillions, of people.
Yeah.
Created an empire.
Mm-hmm.
So the devil who created, if there's a god and the devil or whatever, the devil's like,
right.
Like, oh yeah, oh, you take the guy that takes a fucking 150 years to mature. Oh, okay, I'll go with the species that will die at 90 or whatever lives
that
to...
That makes sense, yeah.
Well, it's like Baby Yoda finally, by the time he's like older, maybe he'll help fix the galaxy.
Why did the Force need to create a Baby Yoda? Because regular Yoda was already there.
But he was already on the way out.
Yeah.
And if you go by their time period...
Right.
I mean, so, like, in that case, like... I mean, that's... If you go by that time period, if they live... Yoda, that species, probably like, oh yeah, this guy's going to die any day. What's that? When any day? I don't know, like 60 years.
True, yeah,
and
okay.
Then it would be like, we're lucky if we live to 60.
Yeah, right?
Like, it's like, okay, so if you're a creature, this is where things also make no sense. If you're a creature that can live that long.
Right.
Do you see time differently? Would you perceive time in a much different way? You basically... You take up the same time and space as a creature. Like we live on the planet with animals, and animals, we have dogs, and you're lucky if they live to like 15. Their concept of time and everything's completely different from humans, but despite the fact that they're dogs and they eat their own shit if they left their own devices.
I would say, I'd say it's obviously different in my head because, even humans, when you're a kid, time seems to go by very slowly. Often.
Right.
And when you're an adult, time seems to go by very quickly.
This year, we're already in November. I feel like this year flew by. And
it's going to be worse next year and the year after.
Yeah, and as you get older, I read theories, if you were, if you were immortal.
Right.
By the time you were 1,000-something years old, or thousands of years old, you would see people, live and die, in front of you. It would just be, the concept of, time... Which I'm just I don't know, I'm not 1,000 years old, so I don't know if that's 100% true. That's just a theory. But this species can live to 1,000 years old. If it does take... See, it's funny that they did this. It's funny they made him 50, but he's a baby, so we still perceive him as he's fresh. And it's no, he's fucking 50 in our mind.
Right.
Because that's how we perceive time.
Yeah.
Because 50 is your hope, and you hope that's middle age.
Yeah, sure.
You're like, oh, dude, I'm 50. You're the same age as Baby Yoda.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, you're right.
So I'm saying like that. I never thought of Yodas like that. I didn't think that it would take them like 100 years to get to like be like what a 10-year, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I thought like you would have a normal developmental cycle and then just a very extended adult life.
You just lived a very long life.
But no, it would make sense.
They just threw red herring in just like I'm getting this like 50-year-old guy, and it's like, oh no, it's a baby, and then like the IG-11 thing says, well, different species mature differently. Sense, sure. And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, when you say that, then that means that species like. I mean, would they even interact with people like on a different? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, your time. It's like time still. It just your perception of life would be totally different.
Right.
The way you perceive things, the way you operate.
Yeah, I mean, it would obviously give them a different perspective on things.
I mean, I'm probably reading into this too much, but I'm just saying, like, I never, like you said, I never thought that. It's like the development cycle is like, by like 20, Yoda would be a Yoda, and then and then he just lives for like 1,000 years.
Right, but it would make more sense that he would be like a baby Yoda till he's 50 or so, and then like toddler Yoda till he's 100. And
and then by the time he's like 200 years old, he's a full he's 20.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, but, at that point, the normal lifespan of most species, like everyone he knows, would be dead.
Right, dead.
I mean, you're basically like an immortal in a way, but you're not because you still have a lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just think, like, would you treat things differently? Would you not? Would you even interact with humans? It's like, so like this Mandalorian show, he's like, he's got to protect this Baby Yoda.
Right.
Baby Yoda's like, you're like the 10th thing
exactly,
to take care of me.
As far as Baby Yoda's concerned, the Mandalorian will die of old age in like a few weeks. You know, like
right, that's what I mean, if you go by that.
Right.
People are probably listening like, the hell are you guys smoking?
Let's shift gears back. Baby Yoda, each episode, there's only been 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Episode 1 was good. Episode 2, I thought was amazing.
And it had Jawas in it.
Yep.
And the Sandcrawler. The Sandcrawler is like one of my favorite vehicles.
Yeah.
So just seeing that as a show.
Right. Episode 3, though.
Episode 3 was awesome.
It was.
Because you had like 100 Boba Fett's in the
end. That just,
Alright, so we'll just. It's funny too because, we're going to talk about 7 and 8.
Yes.
And The Mandalorian. And I think the thing is, for Star Wars fans, that the Star Wars TV show should have been what they should have done a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To begin with. Because movies are really hard. Movies have more expectations.
Yep. And limitations, honestly.
And time.
Yeah.
You can't... I mean, if you release a movie, you tell everybody it's like 2.5 hours long. They act like it's the end of the world.
Right.
But if you make it too short, and then you feel like you're cheaping the audience, it's like it's a weird like dance. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. 2 hours is like the perfect like. I remember when like they released Justice League, and it was released that it was only gonna be 2 hours. People were like, "That's it," and they're just like, "Well, how fucking long do you want it to be?" Like 2 hours is like. When I was a kid, 2 hours was considered a long movie. Most movies were like an hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and a half, movies, maybe, yeah.
Like RoboCop, perfect movie. 90. I don't think it even clocks in at 90 minutes.
Most of the movies back then were 90 minutes.
88 minutes. I remember looking at VHS tapes when I was kidding. Rent a movie and you'd see it. 86 minutes was a pretty common number on movies.
And it would make sense because when they put it on television, you add a half hour worth of commercials.
So 2 hour block. And they would probably edit stuff depending on the movie.
Sure, right.
Like Scarface on regular TV, where every other word is bleeped out or changed.
Yeah. And like 90% of the movies in the 80s had like a topless scene that they had to get rid of or something.
Right.
Yeah, so. All right. Well, okay, so that's Baby Yoda. And
well, we're talking about, we'll just, okay, so we're going to go into like.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Into the movies. I'm just saying that movies and TV have like different like expectations, and I think people have different expectations of Star Wars. I think the reason why something like The Mandalorian is working, well, one, I think all the Star Wars nerds are happy with The Mandalorian because so far you've gotten a bunch of Boba Fett's, a bunch of action sequences, Jawas, Sandcrawlers, Baby Yoda, and it's been really good. And there's only 3 episodes. It's like some people were complaining about the time, like. Or they feel like they're being cheated. What the hell? The episode's like only like 28 minutes long. I mean, after like when you look at it after like the recap The actual episode's literally like 25 minutes.
Right.
But honestly, it might be perfect.
To them, I would say, get your ungrateful asses out of my way as I enjoy this awesome show. It's really good, The Mandalorian.
Well,
these little half-hour blocks.
It's fine. I think it's a fine criticism to have.
Yeah,
because you are paying for this service.
Yeah.
You're basically, most people are paying $6.99 or $69.99, whatever it is, just because The Mandalorian.
That's true. Okay, and that's
So they have that's a very... This is
going to be an
free
Obi-Wan
TV
series.
Yeah, what, in 3 years?
I don't know.
No, seriously, none of this shit is coming out for a very long time. There's Mandalorian,
right?
And then after that, I think there might be like a Clone Wars series, but it doesn't premiere the next year.
Right.
Nothing. They have nothing out. I mean, unless you're into like High School Musical or any of that other shit.
That's
I'm talking
true.
about just from a Star Wars and if you're just a Star Wars Marvel fan,
right,
you kind of got bamboozled because it's just The Mandalorian,
yeah.
and then you're not gonna have, and it's only 8 episodes, and then once those episodes are over, I don't think there's anything truly new on Disney Plus until Clone Wars season 8 or whatever it was, season 7, and the what is it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, right.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So I am going to be critical. That's a fair criticism, but the show is good. So it's like, what was it? Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
If you tell a tight story, if it doesn't feel rushed, if it doesn't feel abbreviated.
Yeah, and there's like a couple different things here. I have a daughter who likes the Disney movies,
so it's a good investment for you.
Yeah, I don't see this as like a negative, but yeah, if I were an adult, or if I didn't have a kid into Disney movies or whatever, it would.
Yeah, my son's like, if I had it's like half the time he's watching YouTube shit. It's like, and that doesn't cost anything. So it's like,
yes, it does. It costs your mortal soul.
Right. Well, no, I mean, he's not watching those horrible YouTube things that we talked about, but like,
yeah.
But so what I'm saying though is, like I said, we're flowing at 7 and 8. Mm-hmm. About the differences between the expectations of a TV series versus a movie. When the movies come out, if the new movies were just filled with stormtroopers and the way they were, and like the same vehicles and all that stuff, you would hear these complaints of people saying, "Oh, they're just rehashing the same shit." But if you make a series,
right, yeah,
and then like a Jawa sandcrawler shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Your brain's like, "Oh, this is great! I love it," and I get to have a whole episode with the Jawas in it.
Yeah,
it's like if there was a movie with the Jawas in it, you would feel like cheated or something. I don't know. It's like there's a big expectation difference between, and that's why I think Star Wars works better now as a TV series. Like, there's more stories. Like Solo should have been a TV show.
It absolutely should have been.
It was. Okay, so episode 7, and episode 8.
Right.
We'll just go into that.
Yeah, let's talk about them. New characters, right?
Who? What are you talking about?
Episode 7 and 8. Well, they introduce a bunch of new characters that we hadn't seen previously.
Right.
Like
Maz Kanata.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite. Maz Kanata.
Yeah, the little eyeglasses person.
I hate that character.
Yeah. Well, look, they introduced a bunch of new characters very quickly. I still think the opening scenes of episode 7 are great.
Okay, so we'll just go into it real quick. So back in the day, I was working at a company, and we had the Star Wars license, and I was out with like my boss or something, and we found out that Disney just bought Star Wars.
Yes.
This was in 2012, in the end of the year, and I was like, holy shit. And kind of started coming, and then shortly after that, they announced episode 7 will come out in 2015. Mm-hmm. And that J.J. Abrams was going to do it. He just did the Star Trek movies. He's done a bunch of stuff that people... some good, some bad, but overall, he's a competent movie director.
Yeah, and he had like a nice buzz to him. He had done some high-profile, very popular, good stuff.
So then episode 7 comes out. I remember they released that first trailer back in like fall of 2014. It was just like a very small teaser trailer, and it starts with like a sweaty Finn.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like a stormtrooper outfit. So there was all these cool little like theories going around, and then you see this girl in like this weird speeder bike, and then that's when you got introduced to BB-8. He's like the Baby Yoda of Episode 7,
right?
And he's super adorable.
Yes,
and then you see the new Stormtroopers. For like, I don't know if you see the new Stormtroopers in that. I don't think they didn't.
I don't remember. Yeah,
they didn't reveal it yet. You saw like the back of Kylo Ren with the lightsaber, and people were like, "Holy shit!"
Right.
It was a very quick teaser trailer, and then the movie came out within the year. It was a big fucking deal.
Yes.
It was like...
It was a big deal.
It was like Episode 3 came out in 2005, so there hasn't been any, except for some Clone Wars stuff, there has been no new Star Wars until... I mean, like Disney released a Rebel series.
Right.
It's a cartoon. But there hasn't been a movie.
I mean, they had the prequels.
But that's 2005.
Yeah, right, yes, yeah.
So there hasn't been a Star Wars movie in a theater for 10 years.
Right, yeah. Prequels went like 99 through 2005. Yeah,
so it's a long... 10 years is a good distance in
True.
movies, and no one thought these movies would ever happen.
No.
But once Disney bought Star Wars, they announced, we're going to do 7 through 9. And people were like, holy shit, and we're going to get Luke. We're going to get everybody back.
Yep.
And they even had fucking, like, Billy D. Williams there.
Oh, yeah.
We're finally getting him in Episode 9. He's not in... Spoilers.
Yeah.
We're talking about Episode 7 and 8, so there's going to be some spoilers.
Yeah.
I think you've probably seen it already, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So, Episode 7 finally comes out. And you're introduced to a bunch of new characters.
Right.
The main characters, Finn.
Yep.
And Rey.
Yeah, and I'd say Poe Dameron is...
Poe Dameron. You know, you're introduced to him, but he kind of shit the bed on that one. He's like an extended cameo. Like, he's in the beginning. He's in the very beginning.
Right. He's
and you
like...
think he's going to be, like, a big deal.
Yeah.
And then he fucking disappears. And then there's no explanation. He just comes back and there's no explanation.
Right.
He's just like...
That's true, yeah.
And there was all these theories about Poe. That he was, like, actually... Because there's a part when he's being... when they... So the beginning of the movie, Poe Dameron is trying to get information. He's talking to the guy... Ming the Merciless from the Flash Gordon movie.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, what's his name?
Not Peter Ustinov.
No, he's dead.
What is his name? Max von Sydow. Yeah.
Max von...
Sydow, maybe?
Yeah, sure. Ming the Merciless from the Flash Gordon movie.
He was great.
And they introduce him, and he thinks he's going to be this big deal.
Right.
He has this interesting name. I forgot his name. It doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't matter
because he talks about how, like, there's little hints about the galaxy. This movie takes place 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Which is weird that they chose 30 and not, like, 35, because the movie... Return of the Jedi was already over 30 years old. I don't know. It doesn't even matter.
Sure.
They just picked 30. I don't know where they get their numbers from.
But
they're like, they just sat in the room. They probably argued for like 6 hours, all the execs, and they said, 30 is a good year.
Well, it's kind of cool because it wasn't, look, it's not immediately after. And it's not like a few years later. It's like, a significant amount of time.
They haven't made a movie since Return of Jedi.
True.
So when Han Solo shows up and he's a 75-year-old man,
he has a walker.
or a man in his early 70s, he got a good explanation.
Yeah. Right, time passes.
Yeah, time passes.
Works.
They're not all Baby Yodas. We don't get to be a 4-year-old like Baby Yoda would be.
Man.
Fucking Baby Yoda just screws up everything.
Well,
so you're getting little hints about the galaxy here in this scene with like Poe Dameron and Max von Sydow. That's his name. Max von Sydow's character, and they talk about how Luke has disappeared.
Yep.
And the First Order, even though I keep calling them the New Order.
Yeah, right. No, the First Order.
The New Order came out of the band,
out of the Joy Division.
Joy Division, just like as the Empire came out of the First Order, rised out of the Empire.
It is weird. It's basically like the First Order is the new Empire, but they're not the Empire because the Empire's gone. It
makes no sense.
Yeah, politically it's weird because like there's also the New Republic,
but then there's a resistance.
There's a resistance,
and it's like, what are you resisting? Are you resisting the Republic? So the New Republic runs the galaxy,
right?
And you have the First Order. Wouldn't you then say maybe the First Order is actually the Resistance?
Yeah. See,
and then
they're the new rebels, right?
In a way, in theory, I mean, I don't know. You look at it a different way. It's like, okay, like, are they terrorists? Like, what? Well, the hell are they?
My guess is that after 30 years passed, the New Republic was like the dominant organized political force, but there's still a ton of space that the old empire was running.
In a 30-year period, I'm sure it's still, you're having issues trying to get governments in line with the New Republic.
But the resistance was the group that was stuck in former empire-controlled territory. Like I don't know, let's say the U.S. split.
Are you just making this up, or did you read
No, I've read about this. No, I didn't read any novels.
I didn't read any of those novels.
I didn't read any
I'm only
novels.
going by those movies. I don't care what anyone says. We talk about this, and I've heard this. I'm not reading those goddamn novels. If they're not in those two movies, they don't mean shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, No, I didn't read this in a novel. I remember watching the movies and talking to people. None of this is canon. But it seemed to me like if the U.S. split in two, and you had the eastern and the western sides, then someone in the west would have been we should have fucking stayed with the east. They would be the resistance, and the east would be supporting them.
Yeah, that seems like more explanation than the movies gave us.
Yeah, probably.
It was just Disney was okay, well, we want to have stormtroopers in it, and we want to have things that look like the Empire, but we can't call it the Empire, and we can't really call it the Rebellion because there's no rebellion.
What are you rebelling
because
against?
The rebellion, wouldn't it just be why didn't you just call the First Order versus the New Republic?
Yeah, that would have made much more sense.
The Resistance sounds the same as Rebellion.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. What are you resisting?
Well, I think the resistance... Look, there might have been, this is my other theory, the New Republic forms afterwards, and there's some former rebel soldiers, rebel fighters that are I don't want to do that.
Just love fighting.
I just love... it's like Marlon Brando in The Wild One or whatever, where,
they just can't
they're
give it up.
What are you rebelling against? He's like, I don't know, what do you got? And that's just how they roll, so, yeah.
You know what Marlon Brando was rebelling against? Salads. Because he was so fat.
I was trying to think of the joke in my head. What is he going to say?
Salads.
Statins.
What?
Cholesterol drugs.
Yeah, that too. Okay, on a side note, nothing Marlon Brando was brought up. Have you ever heard the story? A Dark Plague of this little... No. Marlon Brando supposedly had an affair.
Okay.
Who is his name? You think I'm going to throw in there?
An affair. Okay, Marlon Brando, an affair.
Who's the last person in the universe you would think he had an affair with? I can tell you right now.
Mia Farrow.
No, Richard Pryor.
Oh.
Yes. Now, when people say that, though,
right.
I am willing to watch Brando get it on with wheelchair-bound, 80-pound Richard Pryor. Right.
Yes.
I pictured that.
Pipe-scorched Richard Pryor.
Well, no, he died of MS or something.
Oh, did he?
This isn't really funny.
Yeah.
He died horribly. Yeah, he had
ALS?
He might. Yeah, I think he might have. He was he was 80 pounds in a wheelchair.
Wow.
He was he basically just decayed away.
Yeah, he became like a mummy.
Sad. But when I heard that story, I just like to picture Marlon Brando from
Last Tango in Paris.
No, I was gonna say Dr. Moreau. I don't know, Dr.
Oh
Moreau,
right.
with the weird white makeup. And and Richard Pryor. And that's their relationship. And that's nice,
Right.
Nice senior.
That's amore.
Yeah. So we'll move on. Okay, so.
I cannot move on. Let's go back to this.
Dying Richard Pryor and super heavy. Yeah.
I think that's a one-act play waiting to happen.
All right. You're like, oh, they talk about the prequel. My mind is exploded. You're like Mia Farrow. No. Richard Pryor.
Wrong everything.
Billy Barty.
Who's the opposite of Mia Farrow?
Literally, the complete. Okay, so the resistance. Didn't resist Marlon Brando. Richard Pryor. Okay, so Episode 7 was a movie that came out starring Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor.
Right. Okay, so the movie came out. My brothers and I all saw it together.
Yeah.
And we all loved it. Now, since then, my two brothers have readjusted their critical perspective on it and see it as less good. I still think episode 7 was great. I liked it.
If you remove 8 from it, I think the problem is that 7... The problem with 7 is all set up. There's no explanation for jack shit.
Right,
And episode 8 does nothing to evolve 7.
Yeah.
It just does... It's almost like episode 8's like, nah, I'm just going to be my own episode 7.
Well, episode 8... And I liked a lot about episode 8. I don't want to badmouth episode 8.
What are you... Some kind of cuck libtard?
Well...
Only cuck libtards like episode 8.
Look, I liked episode 8.
Now I'm a phrenologist. I'm going to tell me episode 8.
I liked Laura Dern a lot.
You liked it? Okay.
Admiral Holdo.
Oh my god, her character is the worst character.
It was, yeah.
I'll tell you why she's the worst character.
Okay.
For one fucked up reason.
What? Is it the hair?
It's no.
The
it's
pume,
her
the noise
stupid
she made?
outfit.
Oh yeah. It seemed, yeah.
If she did not look like her character reminds me of characters that scene in Matrix 2. You got the Matrix, and then the Matrix. It's all about like they keep talking about Zion, and then Zion, and how great everything in Zion is, and then you go to Zion, and you still see people living like shit, and there's still this upper echelon class,
right?
For some reason, starring what's that guy's name? That political activist, right, or professor?
Oh,
he's in Matrix 2 for some fucking reason.
What's his name? It's
So he always looks like a werewolf to me.
Right. I'm going to remember this the minute we stop recording. But yeah, he's a famous Cornel West.
Yes, Cornel West.
There we go.
But they're all like wearing these like robes and upper like they're like it's like why did I leave the Matrix?
Yeah.
I'm living like shit in Zion, and there's still these kings and queens in this upper bourgeoisie class. And then you go to episode 8 and you get introduced to this character that you never met before.
Right.
And it's like, okay, everyone, there's a scene where Leia and Admiral Akbar and all them get blown out of a ship. Mm-hmm. Leia, for some reason, is able to come back, wheel herself back into the ship.
With force powers,
she looked like Mary Poppins.
Yep.
I don't mind it. There's so much hate on that. I don't mind it because it's like, fine. It's 30 years fucking later. I'm sure she knew the Force in some ways. Yeah. She is the daughter of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker's twin sister. I would hope that some of those powers rubbed off on her.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
But then so everyone's like, who's going to be in command then? And all of a sudden, here comes this woman in the ugliest prom dress. Yeah. Shows up, looking like, it's like, okay, why? Just make her a CGI character at that point. It was like you gave her purple hair. Yeah. I mean, Laura Dern already looks a little bit like an alien. No offense, Laura Dern. No. And I think she's a great actress.
I like Laura Dern.
There was a show on HBO I thought it was amazing where she's like plays this woman who's having like a nervous breakdown and she becomes like an activist. Right. It's a really good show. It only lasted like 2 seasons. Yeah. But her character is like probably what everything's wrong with episode 8 because. And we'll go back to episode 7. We're not going in order. Sure. We're not going to recap these fucking movies. No. You've seen these movies. Episode 8, it's like, they just made her look like she came out of a James Cameron movie. I don't think there would be so much hate on this character. But she looks like this, like, upper crust, elite. She looks like this elitist character. And you got Poe Dameron, and there's like a scene where she like shuts him up, and she's like, "Do what you're told to do." And I remember all these people had a complaint. They're like, "Oh, this doesn't seem like a rebellion if this woman's telling what to do." Well, first of all, they're not the rebellion. No, they're not. And second of all, even in rebellion, it was still, even though they were called the rebellion, they still were a functioning army, and your supervisor, whatever you would call it, your commanding officer, would probably tell you to shut the fuck up. Yeah, or they would say, don't worry about it. They still follow the rules. It's not like it's chaos. Or we're a rebellion. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, they're flying freaking heavily artillery ships. They're going against empires.
And a lot of them were former New Republic personnel. They probably just kept their rank and stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's like, there was an existing structure.
Right, that's why I always found anyone's critique of that scene, it's like, And they were like, this is SJW shit. And I'm just like, no. But I bet you the perception is if she didn't fucking wear an ugly ass purple dress.
Yeah, I follow that.
And didn't look like that, and she could still give her the cool pink hair.
Sure.
I don't mind that. Whatever. It's space, man. Everybody's got shit. You got people with green hair.
Right.
You got people with green hair here. You could have purple hair. That's fine. But it's her stupid outfit that, like, destroys everything.
It's a little rough.
It's like, why would she be wearing that? I know, like, Mon Mothma wears, like, a white, like, cloak or something like that. But I hated her character in Return of Jedi. That was, like, the most driest. That was the part when I was a kid falling asleep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's when, like, Mon Mothma shows up and she's like, honey Bothmans.
Right.
And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Where's Jabba? What happened to Jabba? And I could see why, I'm like watching, I could see why people hate this character. Now, if you were introduced to Holdo, and she looked like fucking Ripley.
Right.
And you can make Laura Dern look like that.
Oh, yeah, she could.
Just have Laura Dern in the same outfit she wore in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
All those guys who called Star Wars SJW, they'd be saying something different right
That's 100% true. Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing, and I guess Laura Dern's character was a big part of this too, is that Episode 8 was bogged down by this long-ass, like, car chase where one car was running out of gas, and it was just like, I don't know.
It was the OJ chase from '94.
Yes. Now, Episode 7 moved along at a really good clip.
Okay, yeah,
and
so here's the problem. Episode 7 has all the setup. Episode 8, it's like you get Rey on an island with Luke.
Yep.
Nothing happens. Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everything you thought would happen, none of that happens. And then you have a car chase that you said, like a slow-moving car chase.
It's
we got distracted by Marlon Brando, and then we started talking about Laura Dern.
Right.
Dress, and then we got, like... So, like I said, in the beginning of Episode 7, you're introduced to Max von Sydow's character.
Yep.
He had, like, this name. He seemed like he was going to be an important character.
Yeah, he did.
He gives, like, this information to Poe Dameron. He basically knows where, like, Luke is hiding.
Right.
He has the secret information of where Luke Skywalker is hiding. He's been hiding for years. It's an integral part of the plot.
Yes.
You're told that in the opening scrolls of the movie.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, where's Luke? Whoa,
right.
What's up? And then, then you're introduced to BB-8. He's super adorable. And then that's when Kylo Ren shows up.
Yep.
And the new Stormtroopers. And they basically, it's like this village that looks like Tatooine, but it's not. It's Jakku.
Just Jakku, yeah.
And then they basically slaughter the whole village.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren's talking. He's like a new Darth Vader. He's talking to the Max von Sydow character. Max von Sydow's already dropping hints that Kylo Ren is Ben Skywalker. Right. Or Ben Solo.
Han Solo and Leia's kid.
He's Ben Solo. He said that you didn't... He said something about darkness, but you didn't come from that or something.
Right, yeah.
And he's already implying that, like... And... I don't know, whatever. Kylo Ren kills him.
Yeah, well...
So that's it. You're like, oh, I guess
Kylo... Yeah.
You're like, okay, why cast Max von Sydow for, like, a fucking 2-second part?
Yeah. Well, Kylo Ren is established real quickly as, like, a bad guy. I mean, he is, like, he slaughters a village of innocent
and
people.
And he does that one cool scene where he's holding the blast.
Yeah.
Poe Dameron shoots at him, and he's holding the blast mid-range.
Right. Yeah.
And then he, like, confronts Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron's, like,
jokey.
Little jokes.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of funny, in Episode 8, when it begins with, like, the jokes.
Right.
And everyone's like, oh, it's like Marvel. But I'm like... They already were doing that in 7. His character was already doing the jokes. He's like, all right, who does the talking?
Yep.
So it's like, it wasn't out of character to do the mom joke to Hux.
Right.
It was probably consistent in some way.
I would say it felt consistent to me. And
I mean, it's stupid, but it's consistent.
Right. Well, Poe Dameron seemed like a and none of these were perfect analogs, but he seemed like the modern Han Solo character.
Right. He was going to be the Han Solo of this group. Finn was... One of them was going to be... It seemed like, from what I gathered, Episode 7... when Episode 7 ended, I was like, okay... And throughout the movie, we have 2 Luke Skywalkers in this movie. We don't have a Princess Leia. We have 2 Luke Skywalkers.
Yeah.
And one of them's a girl, and one of them is a guy.
Well, Finn seemed like early years Luke, and Rey seemed like mid years Luke.
Right.
Right? Like, so
he's seen more things.
Yeah.
But he's seen things too. He's a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another problem with Star Wars that I had. When they mentioned that Finn was going to be a stormtrooper that decides not to be a stormtrooper anymore,
right.
I was like, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Just like when they announced Episode 1 and they said that when Anakin Skywalker was a kid, he was a slave.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that makes sense. It's like
perfect sense.
Dark origin to a character. There's the conflict. There's conflict already in this character. He already had a tough upbringing. You got a slave, and then you also got a stormtrooper, which is basically someone who's being ordered to do terrible things.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's seen shit, he's done terrible things. But then you find out, no, Finn was just like a fucking janitor or something like that on their ship.
Yeah.
Or FA, was it like FA 1201?
Right, yeah.
And that he's basically like, when they invaded Jakku, that was like his first day on the job as an actual stormtrooper or something like that. Like they just put him in a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
He like immediately he sees like his friend get killed.
Yeah.
The stormtrooper buddy.
Sure.
The blood. I always like the blood on the.
Yeah, like old Wilson
on his mask.
Yeah, like Wilson
kind of cool.
and from Castaway.
And I have that Black Series figure, Star Wars
nice.
6-inch figure. It's pretty cool. It's got the blood on the mask.
Nice.
Yep. But like, there's not much like conflict. It's just like he has one incident, and he's just like, okay, I'm not gonna be on. I was like, you find out the First Order's taking kids in. Like they don't have clones.
Right.
It's established. And I think there's that scene where you meet General Hux and he's talking to Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren's like talking about like some of the soldiers. I think he's pointing out Finn. There's like some. Like these guys aren't working out, and he's like, we could go back to clones or something.
Yeah.
It's a nice tie-in to the prequels.
Right.
Disney's showing, okay, listen, we're not going to just ignore
No, they're part of the universe.
Clone Wars happened. There is cloning in this universe. The First Order basically kidnaps children, or whatever they do.
Yeah, sure.
They just bring in children, and they brainwash them to the point where and then they're stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And they go around the galaxy and do this, or...
Which makes sense. I mean, like, that's probably how it's done in normal, like
child soldiers.
Yeah, right?
Child, you see that. I mean, it's not like it's out of history or made up. But, like, Finn just turns.
Yeah.
He sees one death, and he's just like, First Order bad. And I'm just like, that's not how it would go down. Brainwash people don't just...
Right.
It's not, I don't know. That's a little weird.
It does seem a little weird. Like, certainly if it happened to him, it would have happened to others, maybe.
Right.
I mean, like...
But then there's some explanations with Episode 7 is The Force Awakens.
Right,
And maybe Finn is a Jedi.
Somewhat Force aware, yeah.
And the Force is in him. And he's a good Jedi. He's not a Sith.
Right, yeah.
He's a good guy. Or whatever is perceived as a good guy.
Sure, yeah.
And that's why he would also have a sudden turn and not want to doing this shit anymore.
Right.
Something's not right.
That makes sense.
And the whole movie, he's really just wants to get on the run. Like, he wants to get away. He doesn't want... It's like he doesn't really want... He's resisting the resistance.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be part of the resistance, but he also doesn't want to be part of
the First Order.
He wants to get away from them. And the first chance he gets is, like, he tries to get on a cargo ship to go out to the Outer Rim or something. Get away from everything and just be a runaway or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I get the appeal. It makes sense. Yeah.
And so you see him, and then he takes his mask off, and then you're introduced to the Boba Fett of the new trilogy, Captain Phasma.
Yes,
who is a massive disappointment of a character.
Right.
They have done nothing with this. When they introduced her, well, first of all, when you see this thing, you don't really know right away that this is a woman.
Yeah, you see her pretty quickly.
She's an imposing... She's kind of like a stormtrooper, but she's got like a cape.
Yep.
More imposing looking, really super shiny. They say her armor's made up of like the same shit they used for the Naboo ship. And said one, which is... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. She's like, I want that armor. And it's played by the woman from Game of Thrones, Gwendolyn Christie. So you're thinking, okay, this is gonna be a badass character.
No.
And they do nothing with her.
No, that was pretty disappointing, culminating in a disappointing death in episode 8.
Well, you don't know if she's dead.
Well, okay, fair point. But
she's not. Okay, so she doesn't. She's in episode 7, and she has little small moments, and then they do nothing with her, and then there's a scene on the Starkiller base, which is basically the Death Star of episode 7, and she basically gets attacked by Finn, Han Solo, Chewbacca really quickly. Wookiee Chewbacca just grabs her real quick. They basically tell her to turn off the force fields,
right?
And she just does it. Which means she's like responsible for like blowing up the fucking.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, so they would live, and they're like, let's throw in the trash compactor. And then like episode 8, she comes back. She's not in episode 8 at all.
No, she shows up. Yeah,
and that's literally for one scene when Finn is with that character Rose.
Oh yeah, the mechanic.
And they're like they got caught. They're trying to, in episode 8, their little side plot, while the First Order is going after the fleeing resistance, that supposedly they have an ability to track them in light speed, which supposedly is like impossible. There's no way of doing that.
Right.
And they go on a side mission, episode 8, and takes this new character, Rose, with her. And if they go on that, they could like shut down this tracker on. I don't know. They get caught, and Captain Phasma shows up finally in one scene, and like Finn has like a fight with her.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Well, so you think she's dead?
I think she's dead, but like you're right.
She'll probably come up again.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Have you seen any of the cutscenes?
No, I haven't.
There's a really good. One of the better cutscenes is in episode 8, where Finn basically has a longer scene with Captain Phasma, where he calls her out on her bullshit and says, like, he in front of all the stormtroopers, he basically says, "You sold out. You willingly like shut off the force field on the Starkiller base,
that's
and
funny.
and then you ran away. You calling her out so everyone would know that she's like a coward or whatever. And then they have like a fight, and I think I remember in the cutscene he cuts off her arm.
Oh, okay. That would have been good.
Using that stormtrooper lightsaber thing they use in the new ones. And it's a cool scene, but I could see why they didn't go with it, because one, they might be like, she's going to come back, we don't want her to miss an arm. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, waste of character.
Oh, yeah.
So Finn is like I said, then he meets up with Poe on, what are they on, a Star Destroyer or whatever the fuck they're called? What are they called? They're on Star
Dreadnoughts.
Are they called Dreadnoughts in episode 7? They're not Star Destroyers.
I want to say Dreadnought, but I want to say Dreadnought.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
And then they become like fast friends, and he's like, hey, I want to get off the ship.
Well, Poe had very few options.
Yeah.
I mean...
And Finn's like, I want to get out of here too.
Right, and he can't fly.
Let's team up. And then they steal a TIE Fighter. Like I said, it's a cool scene.
It's a very cool scene.
These movies look amazing.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
But, like, the one thing I liked is when they announced episode 7, and then J.J. Abrams said, he said he's going to try as much as possible to use as much practical effects in these movies.
Good, yeah.
And you see it with the character design. You see it with, like, a lot of the aliens. Like on Jakku, you see a lot of the monsters.
Yep.
And you could tell that they're puppets. Like,
yeah.
But there's something about them that makes it, like, even though, under this, like, thing, there's, like, 4 dudes moving it around.
Right. But they do. They have this, like we talked about with Baby Yoda, they have that weight or that substantialness to them.
So Finn and Poe escape. There's a big scene. They're like, woohoo, and everyone, all this cool action scenes. They crash back onto Jakku because Poe needs to get his droid.
Right, yeah.
BB-8 has a file that was given to him by that Max von Sydow character, which basically is the location of Luke Skywalker. It's very important. The location of Luke Skywalker is very integral to Episode 7.
Yeah.
It is. That's what we're being told.
That's
like the main plot.
Right. It's the MacGuffin. It's the thing that keeps the story going.
Right. So, Finn crashes the TIE Fighter. He escapes it. The TIE Fighter gets swallowed up.
Right.
And then Poe Dameron's gone.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened to Poe.
That's true.
He's got Poe Dameron's jacket. So he wears that jacket. He takes off his Stormtrooper outfit.
Right.
I guess he has pants under the suit.
That makes
under
sense. I'll buy that.
Suit.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. He's naked. He's just working around with a jacket.
Sure.
Schlong out and everything.
Yeah, right. And then the Marlon Brandon character. Yeah. Yeah.
So Finn's like on the run, and then that time we are introduced to a character. There's like a song in episode set, like the theme songs or whatever. They're not songs. What do you call them? Soundtrack.
Themes or motifs or something.
Yeah, whatever. John Williams. I always like the episode 7 one. It's I don't even remember how it goes.
Okay.
It's not like I know it's. I kind of know it, but like you see her in the wreckage of a Death Star.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like a scavenger.
Right.
And there's like a whole bunch of wreckage on this on Jakku. Mm-hmm. I guess supposedly
it was like a big aerial battle there.
It was like after Return of the Jedi, there was a big battle, like fleeing members of the Empire, and like a rebellion. Just it makes sense. Like,
it does. Yeah.
We gotta finish these off. Warring factions. We gotta, things that are gonna prevent this New Republic from happening. Supposedly the last battle of the Empire was on Jakku. So you see like wreckage of Star Destroyers. These are gigantic ships.
Oh yeah.
So they take up huge. Like it's pretty damn
they're
awesome.
Immense, yeah.
And Jakku's just like, I guess it's not a desert. I don't know what the hell.
It seems like Tatooine. I know it's not, but it seems like that type.
But it's
of
like
planet.
a chunk planet. And people like just main economy. It seems like on this planet is people scavenge the old wreckage of they scavenge wreckage of and get parts and give it to this fat gross man.
Yep.
Oh man, what was his name? He had an awesome name.
I forget the name.
I can remember the name, but it's played by the guy who plays Scotty in the new Star Trek movies from Shaun of the Dead. He has a little scene in this one. I forgot his name too. He's the main star of Shaun of the Dead. But whatever, she's she's a scavenger, and she you find out like basically she just does it to get food.
Yeah.
The guy's like 1/4 portion.
I thought it was like a cool way of. I do really appreciate the time they spent like setting up this, because it really does feel like the beginning of a new thing. Like the Empire is gone. There would be like a lot of confusion and things kind of starting over again.
Right.
People kind of like living hand to mouth, and I mean it was kind of a cool way they did it.
Right. Episode 7, like I said, is all set up. And episode 8 is like, there's some cool scenes in it.
Yeah.
But
7 goes so quickly, and 8 just goes a lot more slowly, I
mean, I just watched it again, and it moves.
Yeah.
It's just like, when you're done watching it, you're just like...
What did I just say?
Because in the end, nothing happened.
No, and there's that like...
There's no evolution of any characters.
Yeah, that's real true. I mean, you could argue, I guess, Rey changed a little bit, but not...
Okay, so the plot was, I was like noticing, like they always have story arcs, and they'll bring any movie, any story you watch, they'll bring up something, and then in the end of the movie, that thing they brought up in the beginning will show up in the end.
Yes, yeah.
So in the beginning of the movie, when she meets Luke, and she says, like, what the Force is, she's like, oh, no, it's the thing where you float rocks.
Right.
And he's like, no, it's not just about that. And then in the end of the movie, what does she do?
She float rocks. Right?
And that's it.
That's funny. Yeah.
No, wrong, Luke.
Right.
It's just floating rocks. A lot of rocks.
Yeah. It's true. Like, I think Empire Strikes Back worked so well as the second entry in that first trilogy, because it had to do the work of a first movie too, a little bit. Because when they made Star Wars, they didn't make it with like a natural bridge to an episode 2.
It has a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
I mean, you're introduced to the characters, and yeah, they could go on other adventures, but as far as you know, the Empire is dead.
Oh, yeah.
The Death Star, I mean, you could say that the Death Star, destruction of the Death Star, is also the end of the Empire.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their main base.
It's true.
I mean, Darth Vader flies off in the end.
Yeah.
But in theory, like, you could say that this is it.
Right. Yeah,
and then
you could.
Empire, you find out, no, the Empire is vast. And they have lots of ships.
Yeah.
Because, when they fight the Death Star, none of those Star Destroyers that you saw in the movie, in the beginning of the movie, are in that scene with the Death Star.
Right.
Whatever. But episode 7 has, like, all this setup, and episode 8 continues it, but not really. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So, you're introduced, like I said, you're introduced to Rey, and Rey's, like, getting all this stuff, and, she just lives kind of like a shitty life, She's a scavenger.
Yes.
You see her, she lives inside of a rotted out AT-AT.
Right.
She literally lives inside the shell of the wreckage. She lives inside the ghost of an older movie.
Yeah.
The shell of, like, the past.
Right.
An AT-AT, which represents the AT-AT is like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah.
Why is this a stupid vehicle?
All-terrain armored transport.
But it all makes sense because it's all about, like, when the AT-AT crushes down.
Oh, they're awesome.
It represents the boot. It represents, like, fascism, space fascism. It represents, like, the stomping down, the Empire, like, the power, the weight. And here's this woman, girl, whatever you want to call her, a lady.
Yeah.
Living inside of the wreckage of the past. A failed past.
And she even looks, she's not a kid, but she has, like, a childlike quality to her.
Right. Well, she's living by herself.
Yep.
And, like, then there's that scene where she's, like, eating her portion.
Right.
Yep. That's just a quarter portion.
Yeah.
Just one quarter.
Yep.
That's not a lot of food.
No, but it puffed up.
It puffed up, yeah. So then she, like, puts on, like, that old rebel hat.
Yeah.
So there's these theories about episode 9. And like I said, you could look at the scene in episode 7.
Okay.
Where she's in the wreckage of the AT-AT. But she wears the rebel helmet. This is symbolism.
Right.
And I talked to you about this.
Yeah.
This is you could look at it this way. The theories going around episode 9 is that she might be the this is like one of the dumber theories, that she might be related, the granddaughter, which makes no sense, or somewhat related, or a clone of some sort to Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, you told me that one.
So it would make sense that you have a thing, this person, who she's not aware.
Right.
But she's inside the wreckage of the Empire, but she's also aware of the rebellion.
Yeah.
She's living in there alone and
right,
by herself. She's not really fully aware what happened here, but she's inside of it.
Yeah.
This, like I said, and it's almost like a symbol of, like, she is also a relic of the past too. If she is a clone of Emperor Palpatine.
True, because they don't use clones anymore, right?
Well,
they established that. I'm just saying.
That's nothing to do with the Empire. The clones were not the Empire. They were just
they
would have made
purchased by the Empire. Yeah,
I'm saying that she's living in an AT-AT, which is the wreckage of the Empire.
Yeah, no, I follow you.
And she is herself a relic of the Empire.
Yeah,
that's just my theory.
I can see that.
And that scene right there might have more weight if that is true.
Right.
That she's like, so it's like, why is she living in an AT-AT? It looks cool. And then it's like, no, it makes more sense. It's like, she is actually a relic of the Empire. She's like a secret weapon that, because at some point in episode 7, she basically figures out she has the Force.
Yeah.
And she's really good at it.
Like preternaturally good.
Yeah. Like, literally doesn't learn anything. She immediately is doing Obi-Wan shit.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's telling people, like, to let her go.
Right.
And she takes down I guess not a full-fledged Sith Lord, but a pretty powerful Jedi. Yeah. Like, Kylo Ren has the Force.
Oh, yeah. He didn't just fall off the back of the turnip.
He's Ben Solo, and he was taught by Luke. You find out he's Ben Solo, and he was taught by Luke Skywalker.
Right. He was like a preeminent Jedi.
Yeah. So, yeah, he didn't fall off the turnip truck. But, yeah. And that was like one of the biggest complaints about episode 7.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole Mary Sue thing came from.
Oh,
she's Mary Sue, Like,
I disagree, but I get that complaint. Like,
I think and this is why episode 8's a failure, because the way I thought they were setting up was that you were going to find out, okay, why is Rey so good at this stuff?
Right, yeah.
What were you thinking?
I thought she was just like
women can just do anything.
Well, I thought she was like a Skywalker, something
But
like that.
But
right.
Luke, it took Luke years to become that. He didn't just he didn't fall off a turnip tree.
Right. Yes.
It took him a very long time to get there.
Years riding on
and
that
Ben
turnip
Solo
truck.
is technically a Skywalker too,
True.
even though he doesn't have the same last name. But
right.
He's the same bloodline.
Same bloodline.
And he still had to be trained. Mm-hmm. And then here comes this person who doesn't know shit.
But maybe she's the one that was prophesized. She's the one that's going to bring balance to the
Right.
Force.
There's something. I thought this was some of the theories that I thought after I saw episode 7 when she takes on Kylo Ren. When
right.
It's called The Force Awakens. It awakens in her. In that scene when she like holds a lightsaber and she realizes like.
Yeah.
I thought that there was a couple of things. She is, one, being manipulated by Luke. She was not really in control of herself there. Luke was like tapping into her or some shit like that. Oh, a man. He was mansplaining, I guess.
Yeah.
Or she is actually like living embodiment of the Force. That she is like an actual, like, you would find out that she is like
a spirit form type of...
Yeah, like there's something, like she's not a normal person.
Yeah.
And that, because that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
You don't just, that doesn't happen. You don't take down, if you have innate abilities and you get into a fight with a black belt, you're going to lose to the black belt.
Yeah.
Unless, I that doesn't make any sense. That's not good writing.
Yeah, it isn't.
I was giving episode 7 the benefit of the doubt because I thought they were alluding to something. I was like, okay, this is cool. I get it. Maybe they're going to show you that Rey is like... she wasn't really... In that scene, she was like almost like possessed by the living embodiment of the Force, or she was like...
And that would have made sense.
Possessed by Luke or possessed by something, like, to balance out. When episode 7 ended, I thought that's where they were going.
Which would make sense.
So, I mean, like, when you saw episode 7 and, like, here comes this person that, like, did you think about that at all? Or you just like, I like the movie and I'm leaving? Well, I'm not saying that makes you an idiot or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, it's not, it didn't make any sense at the same time. It's like...
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it was part of me, and this is answering your question, but not exactly. Part of me was like, I was glad that we had all these new characters with which to work, Right. But I was also like, well, where's Luke? And why is Luke not here doing things? Not like...
I want to be more like the Rey thing.
Yeah, well...
In the end. Like,
because, I guess that was it, because, like, I was like, why do we have Rey, who's, at the time, I was thinking, whose existence only makes sense as it relates to Luke? You know what I mean? Like, she's clearly, like, a Luke... stand-in.
Well, you thought Finn was going to be a Luke, too.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know. I mean, he seemed, like, the fact that he was a stormtrooper made it seem like he was just one of a bunch of people, and he was going to be, like, the everyman. That I thought, when I saw it, I was like, which of these characters is going to be, like, the me of the movie?
Right.
And it ain't Rey. Like, nobody's Rey. And Poe Dameron seemed like too kind of cool and slick.
Right.
But the character that seemed like a little overwhelmed and a little unclear and who just was like, I don't know what I'm doing, that was Finn.
Right.
And so I was like, Finn is going to be me.
Which is kind of weird because he's a stormtrooper.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And that's why I thought, like, again, the failure in their part is that Finn is like, what's going on here?
Right.
Alien. I've never seen an alien before. And it's like, dude, you're a fucking stormtrooper.
Yeah. But, like, they did set it up, like, reasonably well. Like, they were grinding through troops. And
well, he was like a goofball on the ship or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get that. Like, that makes sense to me they
basically said he was like the janitor.
Yeah.
But then for some reason they had him, hey, put on that uniform. We're missing a guy.
Well, if you look at, like, the original Star Wars, A New Hope, Luke is your guy. Like, Luke is the one that, like, I don't know what's going on here. What is, and, like, you follow Luke through the narrative. So, like, Luke was your guide, right? And that worked real well through one, and then it got a little more complicated in the others because Luke became more worldly. I guess that's probably the problem with.
But you also were already You didn't need to be a guide.
True. You were acclimated to the world.
You already, like... I mean, Luke's still the guide of, like, the Force when he goes to Dagobah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, he's discovering, like, new things, and he's like, whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah. I guess that's true. But, like, with this, Finn, like, reacquaints you with the Star Wars world. Like, that's what he's doing in the movie, the character.
One of my favorite scenes is when he, like, crashes Jakku.
Yeah.
Well, he's, like, he goes through, like, that same area, and that's when he bumps into her.
Oh, yeah.
To Rey. But that scene when he's, like... He doesn't know what's going on. He's really thirsty, too.
Oh, yeah. I remember
and
that,
he sees, like, all these different alien... And they're all different languages. Right, like, baka, baka, baka. And he's just like, oh, what the hell's going on here? And then, like... My favorite scene in the whole movie, which is funny because, like, I hated the bumping into people. And he's, like, super thirsty. He's been in the desert wandering it.
Yeah.
And, like, there's this, like, fat monster, like weird hippo alien drinking this disgusting water. And he just goes to drink it. And he's just, you know, it's like, obviously this water's disgusting, but he's just, like, so thirsty. And then, like, my favorite is, like, you see the back of this hippo's thing, you see its butthole. It's, like, the funniest thing. And it's funny, is, like, unlike the prequels, where I always bring up, like, the farting camel dinosaur thing that goes, and, like, Jar Jar's like, poodoo. This didn't bother me. It was, like, really well done.
Yeah.
And, like something like that should bother you, like, but it doesn't. It's like, it's not CGI,
right?
And, like, the one thing the prequels versus, and I'm sorry, like, I know, like, everyone's hatred of episode 7 and 8 that people may have, and then they start talking about how great the prequels were. That's complete horseshit.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why I like 7 and 8 as much as I do, is because I remember 1, 2, and 3. You know, like, seeing it in the theater.
There's no character development at all in episode 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Not the original trilogy.
No, the prequels. Right.
Except for the established characters of Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Emperor Palpatine. And
it's diminished because you know how they're going to evolve.
Right.
Like, you already know it.
They don't have to evolve them because you already know who they are.
Yeah.
They just have to act like themselves.
They got to go through the motions. They pantomime it.
Yeah. And all the new characters have no character. No one has any characters. Right off the bat, from episode 7, immediately, you have characters.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of whatever flaws you may have found, when I left episode 7, the same thing. I liked this movie. I liked Finn a lot.
Yeah.
I liked Rey. You didn't know who the fuck she was. That kind of annoyed me, but I still, like, I didn't mind her. I liked her. Poe, he's kind of in it, whatever. But, like, Han Solo's in it. Yeah. Everyone's in it. Like, I thought Kylo Ren was great.
He was good. Yep.
I thought he was, like, a great villain.
He was a complicated villain, but not, like, too complicated. I mean, it was, like, a real easy one to follow along with. I mean, you could follow, like, Kylo Ren's motivation. I mean, like, it may not be the most compelling.
It's not 100% explained.
But it makes
like, why he's evil or anything. So, in that scene, though, where Finn, that's the scene when he bumps into Rey. Yes. Earlier, so when you see the junker thing with Rey and she's sitting by, you hear, like, a droid in the distance.
Right.
And that's when she, like, fights with a little guy.
Other scavenger.
He's like, she's like, Blacko, or whatever, and he's like, and then, like, with a BB-8. And then she, like, befriends it or something.
Yeah, that was weird, because, like, you could see, like, I don't know, when you saw Luke, the first time Luke was exposed to, like, C-3PO and R2-D2, they were just machines.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't care. I mean, it was just like, I need more machines for the farm. But, like, Rey seemed to treat BB-8 immediately like a sentient being. Like, let that little guy go, you know? It was a weird... I wasn't ready for that, just because I had always... I guess I
like, when, like, Luke meets him, and, like, C-3PO's like, I'm going to shut down now. And Luke's like, okay,
you know, whatever
coffee maker.
Yeah, right?
I mean, like, sure.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was weird, like... I remember watching Star Wars, and you first meet R2-D2 and C-3PO, and they seem like friends, and, you know, like, they got personalities, and you're like, oh, these guys like each other. And then Luke is going to, like, buy one, but not the other, you know, and you're like, oh, that's so sad. Like, now they're not going to be able to hang out and be robot friends.
Right, until that one explodes.
Yes.
And then... I ever tell you about there was when Dark Horse had the license for Star Wars, they had this like thing called like Tales of Star Wars, and the joke was, I think his name was like, I know the name of this fucking droid, R5D4.
Oh,
is the droid they were going to buy instead of R2D2.
Was it R5 or R4?
R5.
R5.
Maybe
D4.
It was R4. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
R5D4. I'm sure R5D4.
R5. All right, yeah.
And you find out that the droid was actually a Jedi.
Oh, jeez.
And he knew that Luke was important.
And he needed a little R2
unit. He basically sacrificed himself in that moment.
Good for him.
By blowing himself up.
Right.
My other favorite thing about R5D4 was when Star Wars came back with new figures.
Yeah.
They had a whole new line of Star Wars toys. Mm-hmm. And Power of the Force. That was like in 1995. Yep. And the figures, the one complaint everyone has, like, yeah, these figures are cool looking, but the one complaint was everyone was like buff.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I remember
first,
that.
Like 2 or 3 series. Swole Luke is the best. Like, every one of them. Like, and then for some reason, and then it was like the second or third series, they released R5D4.
Yeah, okay.
For some reason, he opened up and shot a missile.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah,
right?
But it made no sense. Like, you had the figure, and he opened up, and like you could fire a rocket, and it was super weird.
Yeah, that is
like
weird.
I don't know. I guess they were like, "Why are we making this figure?" And they're like, "I don't know, because these nerds will buy everything from Star Wars."
Right, yeah.
Well, kids are going to need like an incentive. I don't know. Put a fucking missile, have it open up, and he shoots a missile, and everyone's happy. But it was like the weirdest thing. But I like the theory that he was a Jedi and he knew better, and that's why he blew himself up. Not that he was just a piece of shit droid that like the Jawas were trying to pass off.
Right.
Them.
Well, yeah. But like when Rey meets BB-8, she's like empathetic to the droid.
Right, not like a living thing that's like...
No, he's trying to like get a portion.
So he could get a quarter portion or a portion.
Yeah. But it was cool. I mean, like, I don't know. I liked these characters as I met them.
So then they bump into each other in that area because for some reason Rey brings BB-8 with her. To Unkar Plute is the name of the Simon Pegg's character.
That's right. Yeah, Simon Pegg.
And he sees the droid, and like obviously the droid's important or something.
Sure.
He's like, "I want the droid, 60 portions."
Yeah,
and He's like,
"It's a lot of portions.
That's a lot of portions.
Right?
That's gonna last me a while." But she knows that droid's clearly important,
right?
Because Unkar Plute don't give.
No, 60 portions. That was his error. He should have been like 4 portions.
Yeah, like a full portion.
Yeah.
You got a quarter, I'm going to give you a half a portion.
It's like the quarter pounder versus like 2 Big Macs.
60 portions is like, whoa.
That could feed you for a year.
If you're giving me 60 portions, clearly this fucking thing's important.
Where would you even put 60 portions? That's
they're like freeze-dried.
Yeah.
And she's in an AT-AT. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big thing.
That's true.
So...
Right. It carried troops. It
was a big fucking thing.
Right.
It's like a 3-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. It is, probably, right?
So, it's like... And that's when, like, Simon Pegg... Unkar Plute's like... I want that droid.
Right,
and then, like, all these guys start attacking her, and she's really good with the staff. Mm-hmm. That was the thing. When you meet her, again, people were like, how could she do all that?
Right.
Well, she did have some fighting abilities.
Oh, yeah.
She literally was fending for herself since she was a child. So it makes sense. It's like you said. It's like Finn is like Luke in the beginning, and Rey is almost like Luke in Empire. It's like a little more battle-ridden.
Battle-ready.
Not as innocent. She understands things.
Right.
She can take care of herself. Yeah. She's freaking like climbing through a wreckage of a Death Star.
Yeah.
I mean, not a Death Star destroyer.
Right.
You see her like climbing through that thing. Like if she fell, she would fall like hundreds of feet.
She'd be dead. Yeah.
So she clearly like has ability.
Right.
And that's when they meet and they're on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, when they're running, and I was like, one of the most ridiculous parts in the movie is like, let's take that ship, and then that blows up.
Yeah, right.
And then she's like, let's get that ship, not that piece of junk.
Right.
And again, anyway, and that piece of junk happens to be
the Falcon,
the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which is, and that was, I remember seeing that in the theater and people cheering when they saw the Millennium
Falcon's a character.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it is a character. It's like. Is not unlike any other vehicle.
It made the Kessel Run.
Yeah. Well, it's like the DeLorean in Back to the Future.
Yes, true. But even more so.
Right.
You know, I mean, like,
but I mean, there's a lot of relevance to it. Like, it's if there's Han Solo, Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon's part of the original trilogy.
It is.
It's part of the group.
It is.
And you haven't seen the Millennium Falcon in action since Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Because it was not in the prequels.
Right, not at all. Yeah, it's such an iconic design. You know,
right.
I mean, like, you don't normally... Prior to the Millennium Falcon, all spaceships, to me, kind of looked roughly the same. You know, like, they're either realistic NASA-style ships, or they were like, I don't know, kind of angular, linear...
Or flying saucers.
Yeah.
So they get on that, and the one thing, like, they don't really know what they're doing.
Right.
And then, like, Rey knows how to fly. I don't know, everyone's got their little art. You're like,
their little
what the fuck, how does she know how to fly this thing? I mean...
Yeah, she did.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, you would imagine that she was, like, pawing around.
She wasn't very good at it, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I like when they're flying through the wreckage.
Right.
Of it. That's, like, such a sick scene.
Yeah.
And then they escape, and then, like, I don't know, all of a sudden they get pulled into a thing.
Yeah, a lot happens all at once. It's kind of like a roller coaster.
And then, like, who happens to show up?
It's Han Solo.
Who you haven't seen since
Right.
Return of the Jedi.
And that's it's like another
With
iconic...
Chewbacca.
Yeah. And it's like such a great scene because he's still with Chewbacca, and you knew he would be, but it's like, oh, they're still together, you know, and that's a good one. It was real nice to see Han and Chewie, and and I remember everyone cheering in the theater. And I think 7 benefited a lot from those moments.
So, like, you knew when Harrison Ford was going to be in it.
Yeah.
Everyone was, like, shocked when he gets killed by Kylo Ren, right?
Yeah.
But I knew when he was interviewed and everything, first of all, he hates Star Wars.
Right. He's not a fan.
And, like, the joke is going back to Empire Strikes Back, they put him in carbonite because he supposedly was not on contract for Return of the Jedi, and they could have kept him frozen.
They didn't know if he'd come back.
Right.
Yeah.
So... he comes back, and I think he literally comes back on the agreement that he's in this movie one time.
Right.
And they would kill him.
Yeah.
And what's funny about this is that, he he got, like, really hurt making the movie.
I did hear that.
Like,
the
right
off
Falcon
the bat.
door, like, closed on his foot and, like, broke his ankle or some shit.
It was a pretty significant injury from what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, supposedly I read this thing that not just when that happened, I guess when J.J. Abrams, like, tried to help him or something, J.J. Abrams broke his back.
Oh.
He didn't realize it until later. He was having severe pain, so, like, yeah, you broke your back.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Maybe that was just his way of being like, yeah, shut up with your ankle.
Right.
I broke my back. Your frivolous lawsuit. You
nice.
Man. So, like, you knew, like, something was up. But again, it's like, no Luke. And then a whole bunch of other shit happens. And, like, this is dumb shit. Like, you find out, like, Han's been, like, running schemes and jobs. And, like, he knows the history of the Millennium Falcon, too. It's, like, it's kind of ironic how everything magically happens. But just like Star Wars, everything kind of magically happens, too. It's like these droids happen to land on the same planet where Luke is. Luke just happens to be the son of Darth Vader. It's all these, like, ridiculous circumstances.
But it makes sense that if you believe in the Force, that there would be some sort of connecting principle.
Sure, or just the plot.
Right, or the plot.
Yeah. This giant galaxy that just happens to Millennium Falcon. And I guess the one thing you could say is that, like, Han Chewie just happened to be nearby, and they're on a freighter, and he has a signal, and there's a ship he hasn't heard in a while. It's his old ship, Millennium Falcon. And you find out he's just kind of up to his old ways, and he's just, like, running jobs, and he has, like, groups, and, like, he has, like, a big freighter, and those fucking stupid monsters that, like, I remember people, like, hated them or something. I thought they were, like, okay.
That was fine. It was just, like, it was such a weird little, like, oh, now we got to deal with this.
But it's like when they... there's, like, some aliens, they fight them, some pirates. There's, like, little, again, things that don't get explained. You're kind of hinted at in Episode 7, again, more things that just get totally tossed to the side in Episode 8, where there's this underworld. Han always represented, like, the underworld.
Yes.
Han Solo always brought Jabba into the story, he brings Boba Fett, he brings all that underworld elements. Like, everything you like about Mandalorian, everything you like about, like, the Mandalorian, like, that all stems from Han Solo character. Yes. And Episode 7, it's like, okay, you got the First Order and you got the Resistance. Well, then you also get hinted at what is this underworld that Han Solo's part of. And there's these warring like factions.
Yeah.
And they all want money from him.
Right.
And it's like I like that scene, but again, nothing gets explained.
Right. It's just a scene out of context.
It's like they don't ever revisit these gangs because episode 8, Rian Johnson wanted to do his own fucking thing, and they just ignored. So I like that scene though when they're flying the ship when that creature is like like its mouth is like on the
right,
like the head of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
What the hell do you call that thing? Like where they sit?
The cockpit. Yeah.
And they go through like light speed, and you just see the thing shred over it. I thought it was like such a cool scene. So then they go to like, this is where so I really love the movie up to this point.
Okay.
This is where episode 7 starts to fall apart for me. It's when they go to Maz Kanata's place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have problems with this because. And I would have been okay with it if episode 8 followed his storyline better and like evolved it. So episode 7, they go to this place, and it's like Maz Kanata, and she's like supposedly even older than Yoda.
Oh, okay.
And she has this like bar, which is basically the cantina.
Sure, it is. Yeah.
And they have like that cool song, and they go in.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like a weird like reggae. Space song. It was like really bizarre.
It was.
But then,
but
you're introduced like a bunch of aliens, and I like when Han's like, "Don't look at anything" or whatever. Like, when you go in there, just don't look at anything.
Right. It's well, he knows the drill.
And then you meet this little orange thing.
Yeah.
And it's like the Yoda of the movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
In episode 8, they fucking don't even. She's like in it for like one scene.
Yeah.
It makes no fucking sense.
Right.
It's like there's so much weight on this character in episode 7.
Yeah, right.
You only see her in like 1 or 2 scenes, but in episode 8, she's like they need something, and they're like, I don't know, call this thing up that like I met for 2 seconds.
Right.
Like, why would they call her up? It made no sense in episode 8. They're like, we need advice. Oh, I have an idea. Don't you have Maz Kanata's number?
Right.
And it's like, you mean that little orange lady?
Right.
That I met for like 1 second?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like this.
Well, I mean, yeah. It does, I don't know. I mean, I guess I keep going back to this. I think 7 set up all these pieces on the board, and then 8, like...
They're like, yeah, you have to have Maz in the movie. Right. And he's like, who?
Well, they kind of did. Because like,
did you watch episode 7?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you didn't.
Right.
So they meet Maz Kanata, and like... She's like, there's this history. It's kind of funny. She's like hitting on Chewbacca.
Right, yeah.
And then,
that was funny.
And then the scene, this is where, like, to me, again, the movie starts to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
To me, at least. That's when, like, Rey wanders off and finds this, like, box.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And
with the saber. And it's, like, calling
It's
to her.
Luke's lightsaber, though.
Yes.
From Empire Strikes Back.
Well, and wasn't it also Vader's lightsaber?
Yeah, it's so funny how the prequels, like... Again, it's like in Star Wars New Hope.
Okay.
They make this big deal about this is your father's lightsaber.
Yes.
And it's like, it's so important. But in the prequels, they go through lightsabers like as if they're just like cheese.
Right.
Like, lightsabers break. It's like, yeah, it's your dad. It's one of your dad's like 50 lightsabers that he uses because he like broke them, lost them.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was like a gun. It was like, I felt like the original trilogy, they make a big deal about this. Like this is your lightsaber. You hold on to this.
Right.
You can't just make another one.
Right.
And then the prequels are like, we got a whole fucking room full of these here.
Yeah.
Here's another lightsaber.
Right.
So it's like, to me, like, I felt like the weight of the lightsaber meant absolutely nothing. In the original trilogy, it means something because Luke never loses. He loses the lightsaber when his hand's cut off.
Yeah.
He's forced to lose the lightsaber.
And in the prequels, like, I don't know, they made lightsabers less and less.
They just were like especially in like episode 2, like, there's a scene where like Anakin's lightsaber is destroyed and he's like, oh, everyone's gonna kill me. But then like one of the Jedi just throws one at him. He's like, here's a lightsaber. I got like 4 of these. No big deal. But then like, she sees the lightsaber and she touches it. And all of a sudden all this shit happens.
Yeah.
Like you hear Obi-Wan Kenobi, like in the background they actually got Ewan McGregor to do like something. He said like, this is where it begins, or these are your first steps.
Right.
And that's where other rumors were that maybe Rey is Obi-Wan's like kid. That Obi-Wan, they alluded that he's had like, especially in the Clone War stories, there's been, like, this one woman from Mandalore that he, like, supposedly got on with, or they set it up to that, so maybe she's, like, a granddaughter. Well, she is British.
Yeah.
Duh.
Oh, yeah.
Only, like, why do they have British people in the Star Wars universe? It makes no sense.
Yeah. Right.
So, like, clearly she must be Obi-Wan's kid or granddaughter because they're British. I mean, where else did you get the fucking accent from?
Yeah.
She starts getting, like, all these visions, and then, like, Maz Kanata shows up. She's like, oh, that lightsaber, like, it calls to you.
Yeah.
I'm no Jedi, but I understand it enough to be the Yoda of this movie.
Right. Yeah. I think, the character probably did perform that way.
And then, like, she's like, I don't want that thing. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to be near it.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, like, it affected her. Like I said, there's all kinds of crazy scenes. That's when, you see Luke, like, him, like, all this destruction, his hand, his robotic hand touching R2. You see, like, it must be Luke. It's the back of him.
Right.
And then you see, like, Kylo Ren with, like, all these Knights of Ren, they call them, which have not been... They're supposed to get to show up in Episode 9, finally. Yeah. They haven't been in episodes... that one tiny little scene, Episode 7, they're not in 8 at all. The Knights of Ren. They're, like, Kylo's gang. It's like Biff from Back to the Future had that gang.
Right.
Kylo has a bunch of goons waiting to go.
Yeah.
And I guess in Episode 9, they finally show up. Hey Kylo, what do you want to do here?
Yeah.
So, like... This is, like, the dumbest scene ever right here. So, like, she gives, like, the lightsaber, though. She's like, you gotta take this or whatever. And, like, I don't know if it's, like, Han or one of them was like, how'd you get this? She's like, that's a story for another time.
Oh, jeez.
Like, what the fuck is...
Yeah.
Like, wait, how did you get this lightsaber?
Right.
You told me this hand was cut off, and it fell down a never-ending shaft that went to nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, complete with that.
It was a hand with his lightsaber. Like... It must have, like, flown off into deep space. Do you know there was a rumor that Episode 7 was going to begin with a floating hand holding a lightsaber?
Yeah.
That's how Episode 7 was going to begin. So they kind of... I remember hearing that. I was like, that's horseshit.
Right.
But when we saw the movie and the lightsaber's there, I'm like, okay, I could see where that rumor started. But that could have been kind of cool.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It would have made fucking sense.
Right.
And then, like, maybe, like... It's like The Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Rings. They treated Luke's... It's almost like Luke's lightsaber would be the ring that ruled them all. And, like... It's like someone found it in a river. And, like, it's like Luke... Like, the lightsaber was like a totem of the Force. It, like...
Yeah.
So if you, like, touched it, it, like, awakened.
Like a magical type. Yeah.
And it becomes this, like, object that everyone wants. And that could have been kind of cool.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
But it's just like... That's a story for another time. Okay, Episode 8. This is it. This is the time. No.
Yeah.
Not this one. Sorry. We don't have time for it here.
Well.
And then, like, Finn gets, and that's where you're like, Finn uses it badly. He gets, like...
Yeah.
And then I don't know, the Resistance shows up, and then Leia's there.
Right.
And then, like...
That's a great scene. Yeah.
Oh, Rey gets taken... That scene, too. Rey kind of runs off because she got all stressed out from the visions. That's when she bumps into Kylo Ren. And then they capture her, and that's when Finn's like, Rey!
Yeah.
Rey! And so when Finn is like, sees Poe flying, goes, man, that's one hell of a pilot.
Yeah.
Did he know that's Finn? I mean, that Finn know that was Poe? Or like, do people talk like that?
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah, that's one hell of a pilot.
I assumed that he did, but I don't know that. I mean, I don't even know why I assumed that, you know?
You as the audience are being tricked.
Right.
You're just like...
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows these things. It's like in Episode 8, when they're on the salt planet.
Yeah.
And then, like, Rey shows up with the Millennium Falcon in the end.
Okay,
Even though they have not been together in the whole entire movie.
Yeah.
Because Rey's been off with Luke, and then she went to the ship.
But here they are, yeah.
No one... Everyone just, like... There she is.
Yeah.
Like, why would you assume that's Rey?
Right.
Wouldn't you be like, holy shit, like,
yeah.
That was it. They hate that shit. I was like, ah.
Oh. Well, yeah.
So then you see General Leia now.
Right.
And now they're like, I guess they're with the Resistance.
Yeah.
They finally are like, what, an hour and a half into the movie? Finally,
Probably
Leia shows up. And then, like, there's a scene. And that was before. Oh, no, they're on the same. This is before the fucking Resistance. Before the First Order. There's a scene where they have that General Hux character show up.
Right.
And they're on, like, it's weird. Like, Starkiller Base is really like a planet.
It's a planet.
That they, like, altered or something. Like,
they put a grid on top of the planet that has like a super weapon.
They like the core or whatever it is. Like they basically converted the entire planet into a super weapon. But it's weird because it's still a planet. It's got trees on it.
Right.
It's got life on it. But he's having this like it's shot really well. He's giving this speech. It looks straight up Nazi.
Oh yeah.
Like, they in line. Like this shit is straight up Nazi. Like even like in Mandalorian, did you notice how like Werner Herzog's character is like an ex-Nazi, not an ex-Nazi. He is like a Nazi,
right? Yeah,
He has the imperial symbol. He wears it. He's like
those Nazi scientists that fled to Brazil.
But he's like talking about like bring order back to the galaxy. You could tell like there's something definitely like he's surrounded by stormtroopers too, so clearly he's you know. But it's just funny they got Werner Herzog too with the German accent.
He's great. He's really like. Interesting.
So Hux gives a speech and then they shoot off a blast on like one planet. They blow up a bunch of planets.
Right, yeah.
And one of the planets they blow up looks a little like Coruscant.
Yes, yeah.
So, and then you see like this woman, and you never met her, but you see them, and clearly she was a character. Supposedly there's a cutscene. The cool thing about Disney Plus is there's extras.
Yeah, okay.
So the cutscenes are like if you watch episode 7, you go to the extras, they actually have all the deleted scenes.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's a scene where General Leia gives like orders to this woman to go to the New Republic or whatever city or planet,
right?
And like tell them like we need help. Resisting
reinforcements. Yeah,
we need resisting. What are we resisting? I don't know. We need help though.
Yeah.
And so she was there. This character. There was more to it than just this one little scene. But so like 7 planets are blown up. It's like whoa, that's a big deal. Like before they blew up 1, now they blew up like 7. Of course, Neil deGrasse Tyson said if you he said that if you absorbed the power of the sun and shot it off, it would be like thousands of planets. It wouldn't be 7.
Right.
It's like, calm down, Neil. It's a cartoon.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It is kind of. I don't know. Maybe that's like I've had a complaint about. If I had a complaint about Star Wars, it would be that like the progressions are just like a little on the nose. Like you went from the Death Star to like the Super Death Star, and now you have like the Super Death Star Planet Killer, and it's like, all right, well I get it. I mean,
I hope that in Episode 9 they just have a bigger Death Star.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Like the Emperor shows up and he's like, "I have a solution. No, another Death Star."
I hope they have like a fleet of 10 Death Stars.
Oh, that'd be great.
Right, like in formation.
Yeah, you like Death Stars?
Right.
I got 10.
Put a Death Star in your Death Star, man.
Sir Duncan, Death Star.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I put a Death Star in a Death Star.
In another Death Star.
In another Death Star.
In another Death Star.
You know what I call it? Death Stars.
Death Stars. A big ass Death Star. It's a Russian doll of Death Stars.
A little babushka thing. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Then, so Rey was captured. And now they're with the Resistance, and they have their little meeting, and and they're like, "How do we do it?" Like Han's like, "Oh, it's another Death Star.
Right? Hey,
we're experts at doing this shit.
We've done this
I don't
twice.
know how we're even doing this. I've blown up like fucking 6 of these in the past 30 years."
I wonder if like they had a feeling of relief wash over them, where they're like, "Yeah, it's just a Death Star, man. We got this.
I mean, it just blew up 7 planets. No big fucking deal.
Yeah, we got this."
Just the whole fucking Republic system was destroyed in one shot.
Yeah. They did go, and I think in a good way, they went like heavy on the Nazi imagery for the first Order, right?
I mean...
Yeah. I mean,
what the Empire is.
That is what the Empire is.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Then they go there, they blow it up. They go to save Rey. Rey uses the Force, and then there's like a scene, and Kylo Ren sees Han.
Yeah.
Like that's the scene where Kylo Ren takes off his mask.
Right.
And then it's Adam Driver. And you're like, ooh, put that mask back on.
Yeah, right?
No, he's just like, I need your dad to help me.
That was, yeah.
And I was like,
right.
This ain't gonna end well.
Come on. Han Solo would never fall for that, but here we are, you know?
Well, there's like all these theories that like Han knew the only way to get like Ben to like...
Right.
Okay, so there's these theories that Ben Solo really isn't a bad guy. That he is posing... Well, this was the theory before Episode 8 came out.
Yeah.
That he is posing... He is like deep undercover.
Sure, okay.
Like we were talking earlier about. Like so deep that you become part of it.
You become what you hate, yeah.
But he's really being used to like take down like Snoke or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And Han knew that like he had to be killed or something, which just sounds like complete horseshit.
It does.
No, that's not Han. Yeah, Han's like, I understand, kill me. It's like, no, he's like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm trying to hug my boy.
Right.
Oh, and then you see Snoke. So then here's the biggest fuck up for the new series. Snoke.
Yeah.
Like,
that was
what a fucking disaster.
Yeah. It was a weird choice. Do you remember the rumors that Snoke was going to be a Baby Yoda? Do you remember that?
No, because that's not what happened. You're kidding, right?
No. Well, not a Baby Yoda, but Snoke was supposed to be a Yoda species. Like, I remember when I first saw
I thought you were just kidding.
No.
But he's like really tall.
Well, you see...
Okay, when you see him, he's a hologram.
You see a hologram.
At first you see him, you're like, oh my god, they really... Is like the main bad guy really like 30 feet tall?
Right.
And then you find out it's a hologram.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay.
That was the thing with Episode 7, is that people were saying it's a hologram. He's really actually quite tiny. It's
yeah, people thought he was going to be like... Yeah, he was going to be like 2 feet tall.
Right.
Or, yeah. That's stupid. But there were other theories that he was Darth Vader.
Yeah,
because there's like this crack in his face, and it's kind of like following the crack of Anakin that he had in his head. There was all these different theories.
Right.
And then it ended up just being a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Which Episode 8, like, totally fucked it up. It was like, okay, you're introduced to... So Episode 8, you finally get Snoke. Mm-hmm. You get to see him. He looks like an ugly-ass Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
He's wearing, like, gold lame robe. Mm-hmm. He's, for some reason, had to be CGI.
Sure.
Because they don't have makeup. I don't know why he had to be... I mean, it didn't look bad.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was, like, terrible CGI. It looked... Yeah. I mean...
Some people are just... I mean,
I don't know. He was supposed to be, like, 8 feet tall or something like that. Like, he was like this... He wasn't exactly, like, a human. Mm-hmm. And he was all, like, fucked up looking. But in the end of the day, he was just, like, a weak-ass, like, fill-in for Emperor Palpatine. My whole thing was, why didn't they just do something different? The guy who played General Hux should have been the Emperor.
Yeah, actually.
Why does the Emperor have to be a hideous monster man? Or, someone who electrocuted himself.
Right.
Because a lightsaber was for something. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But, why couldn't it just been revealed? Or why didn't it reveal, Episode 8, you find out, it's almost like a Wizard of Oz type thing, where it's, this hologram, and it's, I use this big scary thing, but then it's, revealed that, Snoke's actually, a 30-year-old dude, and he's this, fucking corporate CEO douchebag. Right. He's like, yeah, we're going to take up the fucking galaxy.
Yeah.
And, we're the First Order. We're, it's and he's super charismatic.
Right.
And he could be almost Rey gets almost turned on by him or something. Like why not do something like that and make it different? No, it's got to be a monster man in a cloak that shoots lightning. Yeah. Why couldn't it have been it's a dude who's just man.
And it's a pretty easy
I mean,
fix.
we're just, and it's just and it kind of play off modern day the Joker could have been a Mark Zuckerberg type character. Seriously, well, engagements and impressions.
Right.
First Order has 100 million followers, and Ray, you're picking up a good followers. You got 60,000 followers now, and I think if you join us, we could triple your engagements, and
maybe
that'd be kind of fucked. But I mean, why not play into and not exactly that. I guess engagements they would call something else, and Crop Tubes or whatever.
Yeah.
Snarflorflarps.
Okay.
You know, whatever Jedi
Pet names, yeah. Right.
Yeah, whatever Star Warsy names. Lycons.
Right.
Like likes, but Lycons and Follops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like he unfollowed you.
All I know is when I open the map, there's like a bunch of yellow dots where people are like, yeah, that's how Star Wars works. You know, like...
What?
Like when you open up like a map of like the world and you look at like, you know, people who experience Star Wars and how they experience it, like everyone has their own angle on it, you know, like...
Well, what I'm saying is, like, okay, if you're going to do something different, like, if you, to reveal, like, you know, everyone claimed, the biggest complaint about Episode 7, it's like, okay, so then there's, like, they blow up the new Death Star, and it's really not that big of a fucking deal. Like,
no, it wasn't.
To me, it's, like, pretty effortless. Like, they got Phasma to turn down the fucking force field, so Finn and his guys were able to just go in and blow the shit. There's a cool lightsaber fight where Finn gets really hurt. Yeah. And then Rey gets the lightsaber.
You're right. Yeah.
Well, you know, you didn't know who was going to be the Jedi. Right. And then Finn, you know, he's doing whatever he can. And he gets a hit on Kylo. And I like that lightsaber fight because the one thing about the Episode 7 lightsaber fight was, unlike Episode 1 and everything where everything's like a ballet and a dance, it's like super choreographed. These are like rough. And, like, you know, like, Kylo Ren's lightsaber's rough. It's got, like, a weird, like, sizzle to it.
It's even, like, jagged. Yeah,
yeah, like it's an imperfect lightsaber. Right. And, like, he's, like, super aggressive. And, like, Finn's, like, doing whatever he can. Right. And then Rey gets in. Even she's not great in it. But, she's able to, like, overpower him. But I thought that lightsaber battle was so much better than, like, episode... I know people will be like, what? But, like... Episode 1, if you watch it, it's like with Darth Maul with his like twirling baton.
Oh, he was great, yeah.
But it's like, it's so choreographed.
Yeah, no,
it's so fancy.
It is.
It's so like this one wasn't. This was like, everyone's younger and they don't really know what they're doing 100%.
Yeah. I think these are different animals. I think
Kylo got shot, so he's like... Yeah. Because when he kills Han, Chewbacca shoots him in the side. So he's like bleeding out. He keeps banging the side of him. Like, so he's wounded. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot going on all at once. And I felt like as these things were happening, like the stakes were getting raised. Like when Kylo... When Ben Solo killed Han Solo, you're like, okay, this is irrevocable. You're not going to come back from this.
Right. So then, and then there's the fight in the snow. It's kind of cool how they were able to do that.
That was a really pretty...
And that's why I like the Death Star, because it's like, it's not a Death Star, because it's on a planet. Yeah. And they're fighting in the snow.
You know what the fight in the snow reminded me of? And I'm probably wrong, like, structurally or whatever. But do you remember in... I forget if it was Kill Bill 1 or 2. Remember when... what's-her-face, Uma Thurman fought Lucy Liu there's like a scene where
she takes on everybody, but now all of a sudden they're in the snow.
Yes. Yeah. And there was the water feature in the pond kept like coming up and down. I know that it's not a perfect fit, but like that scene really reminded me of that, and it felt like what I imagined to be like Japanese cinema or whatever, even though I don't watch a lot of Japanese cinema. But it was like a really cool...
You watch Japanese cinema made by Quentin Tarantino.
Sure. Yeah, right? I mean, like, exactly.
He's watched enough for you to feel like you watched enough. That.
Yeah. It's like...
You're like, thanks, Quentin.
Well, it's like Cliff Notes.
You watched like 3 of them.
Right.
Which is watched Kill Bill, so you've seen them all.
Exactly. The entire culture's worth of cinema effort I've seen.
Thank you, Quentin.
Yes. Through the...
I'll take your word.
Right. Well, actually, I take that back, because I've seen a lot of Scarlett Johansson movies, too. And
okay. I know where this joke's going.
All right, well...
So, and then that's when that's when Rey wakes up and she realizes, like, the Force is weakened. And she's the Jedi, and she's able to overpower Kylo, and she, like... Right. Fucks him up. She like cuts him, cuts his face, and then they,
But it's like it's not how a Jedi should fight. It's like
actually, that's another reason why they say she might be dark, is the way she she overpowers him and like hits him. It's like it's not what Jedis do.
It's Sithish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of shitish.
Sithish. It's like she don't even give a Sith.
She's just like Sith this.
But it is. It's. A lot happens there too, which is...
There's so many, so you watch a movie, and it is a complete movie in a sense, but at the same time, so many things are set up and left open. You know, it's like I really like how it ended too. Like Finn is now in a coma,
right?
And you know there is a relationship between unlike the prequels. This is where Episode 7, like I'm sorry, beats.
Oh no, yeah,
1, 2, 3 in every way because you believe that Finn and Rey are friends.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
That
yeah.
Finn became fast friends with Poe.
Yep.
They are like there is like actual dialogue,
right?
And people actually talk to each other like they're humans, and they're not just like.
No, they feel very lived in, and yeah, like look, Poe and Finn. They quickly fell into each other, but like it
was like rumors that they were going to be a couple.
Oh no, I kind of remember that. But like, look, they needed each other, and they both kind of knew which side of the bread was buttered, or whatever that expression is. And they're like, look, well, it's like, look, I got you need a pilot,
yeah,
and I need to escape,
right?
And we can make this work. And
you're
then
they became friends,
right? And you're
like Seinfeld,
yeah, right.
And, you know.
But then with like Finn and Rey, it also made sense.
They were both escaping, and they were on the run together.
Yeah,
and they they became friends.
Yeah,
and there might have been like some romance there a little bit. They don't. Right. Again, it's like they like hug each other, but it's like really, and it's like a weird like. Oh yeah. Maybe there might be something. Okay, so he's in a coma now.
Yep.
And they go back home, and Leia's like, Leia comes back. I mean, Rey comes back, and like. Leia kind of knows that Han's dead now.
Right.
And I don't know, they hug, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess they talked to each other before I forgot. But they now know where Luke is.
Yeah, right. They have the location.
Well, the rumor was that Luke was on the original Jedi Temple.
Yeah, right.
So, again, alluding, what is going on? What is happening here? All set up. Why is Luke at the... And it's like, oh, cool. In Episode 8... At this point, we already know we're like over 2 hours into this movie. Mm-hmm. We're not seeing Luke he's going to be the cliffhanger at this point.
Yeah,
because
and if it wasn't obvious earlier, it should be obvious by about 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, especially after the Death Star, Starkiller base was destroyed and Rey was awakened with the Force. Yes. So she goes off on her own mission. She says goodbye to Finn, and you could see that she has. Like, she's like, is really upset. She hopes he does better. He's in a coma. You don't know what's going to happen to him. Again, it's like, it's a really good ending to like, kind of almost a dark ending too. Yeah. As a setup film.
Well, it's supposed to be a setup film, like to some extent, right? I mean,
right, but I'm saying though, unlike Episode 1, or not Episode 1, unlike the original Star Wars,
right?
Like everyone always says that like Episode 7 is a complete ripoff of Star Wars: New Hope. I saw people who said like, I already saw this movie. It was called New Hope, and I'm like. Okay, I honestly think if it wasn't a Starkiller base in the movie, right, you wouldn't be able to say that. Yeah, it follows the hero's journey. It does follow, but it is there's enough different things in there. Yeah, it has a fucking alien scene. Mm-hmm. I would say, if anything, Episode 7 is like a weird amalgam or whatever of Episode 4 and 5. It has some Empire Strikes Back elements in Episode 7. There's some like scenes in like that I could see. It's like 7 almost combines 4 and 5 together in some ways. All right. It kind of ends on like a little bit of like you got your heroes and one's in a coma, the other one's about to go on a journey. Yeah. Han's dead. It's like they just beat the First Order.
Yeah. Well, they beat the First Order, but there's still all these problems, right? Like,
and you also don't know anything. You don't know what the fuck's going on in this galaxy.
I laugh because it's like, it sounds like you beat the First Order. It's like this great thing, but like, what is it? Like, what did you beat? Yeah,
right. And then like, so then they all go, and then she's in the ship. They go to the planet. Right. It's like in the middle of the water, and she lands. It's like a little island.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
And it's like a long walk. And then you see the back of someone. And it was Gandalf the Grey.
Right. Well, yeah. No. Right. Well, I mean, it was.
He turns around and pulls back the hood. Mm-hmm. And it's Luke Skywalker. Yeah. And he's got like his robot hands exposed.
Right.
He's got a beard, long hair.
Yep. He looks like Gandalf.
And he doesn't say a damn word. She's just holding out the lightsaber, looking all like kind of sad and serious. Yeah. Holding out that lightsaber, and he's just like. Right, good, and then it goes to like an aerial shot and it ends.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that a good ending? For a movie?
It's not a good ending for a movie. Like, it's a good ending for one part in a longer series of movies. You know
like
what I mean?
A
Like
TV show, maybe? Or
yeah.
Like, do you think, like... So when they announced these movies, they said that 7, 8, and 9 were only going to be 2 years apart.
Right.
The plan was Episode 7, Rogue One, 8, Solo. If Solo wasn't a bomb, you would have had like a Boba Fett or Obi-Wan movie. You would have all these movies, and it would be... And then they would just keep fucking releasing Star Wars. The plan was every year would be a Star Wars movie. Every year. To the point where you were just like, ugh.
Right.
So... And then now we're in Episode 8. Okay, so... At Episode 8.
Well, it goes. It's odd because 7 ends like so abruptly, right?
Right, and it's like it's cool, but when you think about it, it's not cool.
Right.
Unless they did like this. They could have done so many different things with 8, and there's so many things opened with like 7 opens like a door. You're like, okay, what's the First Order? What the hell's the Resistance?
So many questions.
What is this underworld that Han was in? Mm-hmm. What's up with Maz Kanata connection with the Force? What's up with this fucking lightsaber? What's with all these different things? Episode 8's just like, I'm not gonna do any of that.
Yeah. Well, it really didn't. It had like this other agenda. I mean,
it made no sense. Like I was like, when they hired J.J. Abrams, and I was told like, I knew that all the movies were gonna be. The first one was going to be directed by J.J. Abrams, but he was going to produce all the other ones. Right. So I was like, okay, this is like...
some continuity.
This is a tight ship. Like, each movie will look a little different. It's got a different voice. But these movies are coming out 2 years apart. The movies, like Disney bought Star Wars, they didn't just shit them out right away. Right. They waited, like, it took 3 years, when the deal was done and everything, you know, that they would have a movie. And I thought they would have this huge plan, like... I mean, if you were to create these movies and someone said, okay, you got to make 3 movies, it's Star Wars.
Right.
You would think that there was this tight plan.
You got to map out a story.
At least like a guideline. Like Episode 1, Episode 7, we meet all the heroes. And then
this is the conflict, this is
Episode
how it's resolved.
Well, we kind of follow some of the same beats as the other movie, but, you know, this happens, there's a lot of character growth, this happens, we introduce maybe a villain or two in here, you know, maybe someone else important dies, maybe something else happens, and then Episode 9 is the big finale.
Right.
And everybody, and then there's like big
That's how it should be, yeah.
And that's not what the fuck we got.
No, not
at all. And not even in a good way. Like... I know, what's the word? Episode 8 is the subverting.
It's subverting of expectations, yeah.
Which is just like...
Because you expected it to be good.
Exactly.
Right.
I expected it to be good, but they subverted my expectations.
Yeah. I see. I really was looking for something bad. Well, look,
And it's like so weird because it's like... You got a guy, Rian Johnson, who makes the movies, and... He's only made... I think he made like Brick and Looper.
Right. Looper was amazing, I thought.
It was okay.
I thought it was really good.
It was alright.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you like that kind of movie...
I didn't hate it. I mean, it's good.
We're talking about the time travel with
Bruce
Willis
and the kid from...
not Edward Norton.
I was like, the kid from Third Rock from the Sun, because it'll always be the kid from Third Rock from the Sun.
The new Batman. Or what was
Robin,
going to be the new
Robin.
Yeah, right.
The guy who revealed his birth name was Robin.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, that's dumb.
Well...
So, like...
Tonally, it was a big shift.
There's like, okay, it begins right away. Episode 8 begins with like, whatever planet... Well, first of all, Star Wars comes out, and then Empire comes back. And there's a long gap in time.
Right.
And it feels like, you feel like even in between the movies, these characters have been on adventures. Mm-hmm. They're on a different planet. They're like running from the Empire.
Right.
There's evolution. They've seen shit. They've done shit.
Yeah.
There's a history. There's a history. The bond between the 3 main characters has grown. There's like a will they, won't they has grown more with Han and Leia.
Yep.
Maybe with Luke too.
Sure. Okay. Crazy world.
Yep. Crazy world. You know, in space.
Hey, no one can hear you scream. Oh no, that's Alien. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So like, there was time, and then episode 7 ends on just like Rey handing a lightsaber to Luke, and that means they could have done different things.
Mm-hmm.
It could have begun with you find out time that she's on this island for a while now, being trained by Luke.
Right.
They could have done that. They could have skipped a month.
Exactly.
And been like, she's on this island now, and she's in the middle of being trained.
The next scene could have been her doing some raising
Floating
of
shit.
an X-wing from a swamp.
Or something like that. He's like, "Thank you, I needed to get that out."
Yes.
I can't do that myself for some reason. I'm capable of doing that.
Yeah.
As Yoda was telling me.
I've been living off porgs.
Porgs are adorable. Baby Yoda came and said, "Fuck that."
Right.
Here comes the real time.
That was my favorite thing on Twitter, where like one image.
The girl, the distracted boyfriend meme.
Oh no! One was like it said like us in like 2017, like porgs are the most adorable thing. And the next one was like my beer you will hold. Or
there was another one with the distracted boyfriend.
I saw that one. That was good.
The porg, and then the guy looking at Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
I like the one thing I will say is the one successful thing about episode 8, regardless of, and I tell these people, I don't care what you think of that movie. Mm-hmm. If you like it or you think it's the worst thing ever made, porgs are adorable. The thing I like about the porgs is that they are inconsequential to the movie.
Oh yeah, right.
They're just something in the background. One of them does go on the ride with Chewbacca,
which is awesome.
Funny.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny. It's just there.
Yeah,
but it's inconsequential to the entire movie.
I agree. I hadn't thought of that before, but
they're just like squirrels.
Yeah,
in the background, they don't.
Yeah, they weren't like shoehorned in as like, oh, but this is the species that protects the trees that generates
and then they talk, and then they're like super annoying or something.
No, they're just like they're adorable. They show up and then they're
kind of like rodents. Like I like when like the Millennium Falcon's being like overrun with them. You see the nest, and it's just like, what the fuck happened? You know, Chewie's just like, it's just something funny to do with Chewie, but like. Yeah. The part with him eating the porg, though, is pretty damn funny. It looks like something out of a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, it was funny.
Holding that porg, it's perfectly, like, golden crisp.
Right.
It's still the shape of a porg.
Chicken or something. I'll tell you, I look, not to get, like, super real here for a second, but, like, I've been a vegetarian for, like, 20-some years. And I thought that was real sad when they ate the porg. And I was
he was going to, and then he saw the porgs, and
he killed the porg, and he barbecued.
He still killed it.
Right.
It's like, just fucking eat it at that point.
You know what killed me in The Mandalorian is that scene where they were barbecuing a salacious crumb.
Oh, that was pretty damn funny.
And it was very funny, but like I thought that was so sad. Like that was like a real.
Salacious Crumb was an asshole.
He was an asshole, right?
And he's like chewing Luke's eye, and he like jumps away. Like,
I mean, I don't disagree with any of that, but it was like
he was a douchebag.
I don't know. And but then there was the second Salacious Crumb, like watching the
other one getting cooked,
right? And he made like this moaning noise, and I was like, oh my god.
It's a little weird because they feel like a porg is just like. Again, it's like a squirrel bird or something.
Exactly.
It's like a pug mixed with like a puffin mixed with like a... but like the Salacious Crumb character is a little weird because they seem a little bit more intelligent.
Yeah.
Like they're almost like... They could be... Like they're like a really intelligent parrot.
Well, it's funny you say that because like the porgs are clearly... as adorable, but they're like a food source. I mean, they're like...
Well, they're just there. Yeah. They're on an island, and I like... reading about like how, again, the one thing I do like about the new movies is they try to do as many practical effects as possible.
Yes, right.
And they even like, I forgot what it was. Oh, the island that they were shooting on had like actual like birds, and they couldn't fuck with them like right. season or something like that.
That's funny.
So what they did was they just like, anytime there was a scene with those birds, they would just cover them up with porgs.
Oh, that's
so there's
funny.
like little nests throughout the island, and they just put porg nests. They just physically covered them up, and the CGI'd it later, you know.
Well, with the Mandalorian stuff, I googled what those creatures were, and the official Star Wars like Wikipedia comment on
for the Salacious Crumb.
I think they're called lizard monkeys or something. There's a name for them.
Right.
They're like the so and so lizard monkeys, and there's like debate as to whether they're sentient. Like that's,
so. I think the reason why I think they are is because there was a documentary I watched when I was a kid.
Oh,
Return of the Jedi came out.
Okay,
where they're doing like the Jim Henson Factory,
right.
and they're showing like all the different aliens, and it's hosted by Salacious Crumb, and he had a voice.
Oh yeah,
and he had a voice that was like someone from like the Muppet Show or something. It was like I know the voice in my head. I'm trying to like think which Muppet had his voice,
right.
but it made him like, to me. I always, even though he
like
doesn't really talk in Return of the Jedi. He talks in this documentary,
right?
So to me, he was always sentient.
Yeah, no, that I follow that perfectly, but yeah, yeah,
but yeah, that is kind of funny, man. And again, it's like that's why I think everyone's loving The Mandalorian is because you are seeing elements of the original trilogy in there, and it doesn't feel like it's being done right. But I think because it's a TV show, it's more forgiving.
Right.
And if it was in a movie, they'd be like, "Oh, here we go again."
Oh yeah.
And everyone always complains and says like, "Oh, there's only so much you could do with Star Wars," and it's like that's not true. You can do anything. It's just a universe, and you could do.
Yeah.
But I think a movie is different. A TV show, you can put the characters on all different kinds of stories,
right,
and have them do all different kinds of things because there's more content. Well, in a movie, you're locked down, and especially if you're doing a trilogy, you have to like. It's like the stories are like locked down. This movie, this happens, and Episode 8. That's where Episode 8 fails because it doesn't follow. It's like Episode 7 is introduction, and like, I think you said this earlier. Episode 8 is like another introduction,
and
an ending.
Right. It's just a bizarre.
It's like its own movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It has. It just. It's like the middle, but then it's like Return of the Jedi, and then the movie ends.
Right. It like Star Wars was like a movie, and then it had like sequels kind of shoehorned onto it, but it worked very well.
Well, again, it was a big story. Big story, and the second one expanded on it, took it on steroids,
right,
and had a great finale. So you had a third movie, and the third movie was able to work off the first two, and it had an ending.
But this Episode 8 didn't work the way a second movie in a trilogy should work. I think that's the problem. It wasn't like, look, the characters were still good, the plot was still interesting. I liked a lot of stuff that happened. If you ask me about, look, there's only two scenes I hated, and it was the extended car chase scene, which was admittedly 2/3 of the movie, and
okay, so you brought so you were saying like, okay, so like 2/3 of the movie is like a fucking car chase, which is like a bizarre car chase. So the beginning of the movie is like you find out like wherever the Resistance, either the place they were staying when they attacked the Starkiller base, you assume that this is like literally right away, or maybe like let's just say a week after Episode 7 ends. You don't really know how long it took Rey to get to Luke's where he's staying. He's supposed to be like on the Outer Rim or like some undisclosed path that was like off the maps, like when Han's like showing the maps in Episode 7, like. That cool scene when he's talking about the Force and everything, and it's like
I
thought that was like one of the great scenes in the movie, and they're showing like the maps too, and he's like
that was a cool scene,
and like they don't know where he is, and like R2. Oh, that was the other thing. Like R2's like hardly in Episode 7,
right?
And he's like in sleep mode or something since Luke left. And and then like for some reason at the end of the movie, R2 wakes up. Like I guess he's allowed to wake up now for some bizarre reason, and he's able to show like they have the chip that. BB-8, and they're able to show the full map, and they find the planet, and that's where Luke is. So Rey goes there, and you don't know how. Maybe like let's just say a week, 2 weeks max. Has happened between these two movies. Unlike 7, unlike 4 and 5, where years have passed. So you don't really have time for these characters to evolve or grow or look different when they come back. It's like they're just going to be in the same rut that they were in Episode 7. I mean, Finn's in a coma, but and then like you see that right from the beginning, whatever the Resistance is hanging out, they're escaping. It's similar to like the beginning of
2,
of Empire Strikes Back, when the rebels.
I'm sorry,
and they're trying to escape, and it also begins with Poe confronting. He's in his like X-wing, and he's doing the "your mama" joke to Hux, like where he's like,
it was
it was really bizarre, and everyone was like saying like 8 was like trying to be like a Marvel movie, but
I heard that
failed at it or something. I don't know.
And then like
they have like all these weird ships. Like there's this big battle scene, and like they fight a dreadnought, and like this is where like Poe's like fighting with Leia. He's
right.
Like,
well, he's like risking. He's too aggressive or too.
And she's like, let's just go.
Right.
But at the same point, he's trying to make like, hey, they have these cannons pointing at us. They can blow us up. Like the dreadnoughts. Like it's like this super. It's like a weird Star Destroyer. It's like it's fully loaded with all kinds of like
exotic weaponry.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah.
And so they have these like. It's so bizarre too because it's like no time has passed, but I guess the whole time the Resistance had all these bombers.
Yeah.
That they didn't use when they went against the Star Killer base.
Sure.
You think like, you know what, let's send those bombers.
Right? That seems like a good idea.
Just drop bombs on the Star Killer base. So.
Right. Hit the triggering mechanism.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
All these like weird slow, like they're cool looking, but they're like slow moving vehicles. They're really stupid.
Yeah.
And they all get blown up because like Finn like fucked up or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't mind there being like human elements, like, well, we messed up, but
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like stupid's a different thing.
Right.
There's like complete incompetency. To the point where it's like,
it's funny.
How are you flying this ship?
It's funny though that you say they were slow because that kind of gets to my complaints about this episode 8 in general. Is that long ass car chase scene, right? Which slows down the narrative. You have these little bomber runs, which are slow. Well, it's
like
clunky.
Okay, so the whole joke was that Finn's got this X-wing, and they're trying to blow it up, and like the guy in the ship's like, "We can't do that. It's too fast," or something, and it's like it doesn't make any sense. And he's able to like take out all their exterior cannons,
right?
But then they're like, "Okay, now let's send in these slow ass things that like." What was it, like one X-Wing like just blows up through all of them except for like one?
Yeah,
and there's this woman and like she like falls and I guess she's important.
Right,
she's, like holding like a well, she has like a necklace or something, like a half of something. And this was actually one of the funniest things. And I remember like there's all these different complaints that have come out of episode 8, but the first series of complaints that I saw that came out was the bombs. There's no gravity in space.
Yeah.
Because when she releases the bombs, they all just drop on the ship.
Sure.
But there's no gravity in space, so why would they drop down, or wouldn't the vacuum of space just like pull her out and everything out? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. They have like, I always say like, okay, this is where you're gonna get like super technical.
Yeah.
This is
where I get off. Yeah.
The only thing I could say about it is like, okay, if you want to be technical, what if the bombers are like magnetic?
Right.
I don't.
Yeah. I don't want to go to science class when I'm watching a Star Wars movie. You know what I mean? Like I get
it's not Star Trek.
It needs to be. Yes. Right. It's not science.
Episode 1 kind of ruined that with the midichlorian thing.
It's not science fiction. It's science fantasy.
Right. But episode 1 ruined that with the midichlorians.
Agreed.
When he said like, oh, you need to be like.
X number of parts.
Episode 1 phrenology class, like, oh.
Yeah, basically.
Qui-Gon measured the bumps on Anakin's head.
Right. We got him. Well,
science, Star Wars.
It's funny, right? It's like
it's a racist shit.
It's a little Obi-Wan eugenics program. Episode 8. So much of it I liked, and so many parts.
What did you like about it?
Well, like, look, a lot of the spacecraft scenes were really cool, and the laser gun fights, and I mean, they were like really stupid.
It is a well shot movie. It is like it looks great.
Yep.
Like the cinematography is great.
I like seeing more of like the original characters interacting with people.
The biggest failure of 7 and 8 is. All they had to do was have one fucking scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah. You said this.
Okay. One scene in the movie. They could have done in the beginning of the movie. Just had all the characters together.
Han and Luke are the big ones, right? Yeah.
One fucking... And Orlando. Just one scene in the beginning. Could have took place 10 years before.
Right. Yeah, it could have been a flashback, really.
Could have been a flashback or something. And, like, something happens. Like... And that could have been like the thing that triggered it. It didn't even have to be like that important. And everyone like just get,
right.
It's like why? There's always like these things like they always call it like fan service.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm like, but isn't that what this is?
That's good.
We're paying money.
Yeah.
Because we want to see
to be serviced.
Right, we are fans.
Right.
Service us. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
please.
there's like cheesy fan service.
Sure.
Like in episode 2, there's like fake Boba Fett versus Obi-Wan fight.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess that's fan service because you're like, look, it's a thing that looks
Yeah.
like Slave One,
Sure.
and it's a thing that looks like Boba Fett. I get that, but then there's something that's just like, it's like making the first Star Trek movie, and it doesn't have and half the original cast isn't in there,
Right.
and they kill off half of them, and then the other original cast shows up, and you're just like,
Right. What did I just say?
yeah, and it's like Luke will never interact with Han. Leia will truly never interacted with Luke because he was just a fucking hologram at the end of 8. And like none of these characters had like a nice little send off. It's like Return of the Jedi. They had this like ba ba da ba da ba 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 da, the original Ewok song,
right.
And then like they're all like that little weird cast photo in the end where they're all looking at the crowd and they're saying goodbye. And it's like, that was it. That was the end. That was the last time you saw all those characters together, and and you'll never see them again ever together.
Right.
Because for some fucking bizarre reason they decided they can't have one scene with them all together. We have to have Luke in hiding, and we're going to kill off Han in the first movie.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, we are not going to have these characters together.
Yeah.
There is a rumor in 9 that it might start off with a flashback.
Okay.
But it won't feel real because they're going to do some weird de-aging shit.
Yeah, I hate that.
And it's going to look fake as fuck. Everyone's going to like complain. This is true.
Sure.
Again, we're just assuming. We have not seen 9. I don't know. I think they just announced that they just finished wrapping 9. Like 9 is done.
I think I heard that too. Yeah.
I gotta flush it. It's in the can.
It's in the can. Yeah. I think I saw that on Twitter.
But like, why not? Why not have that scene?
Yeah.
One scene.
Right.
Like.
Well, you would think that they would want that. Like, I'm just saying, like, not that the film people want that, but like the movie theaters would want, like, why aren't we having access to some of this bonus material to get people to the movies or whatever?
But I mean, like, and then like, okay, so when you were talking about like how 2/3 of the movie is a car chase,
yeah,
and what was you were telling me about a movie that Spielberg did?
Yeah, it's Steven Spielberg. I'm 99% sure it's Steven Spielberg. It was like a student film he did. It was one.
This is an old one.
Yeah, it's like an old Spielberg film.
Okay,
and it's called Duel, Duel.
Okay,
and I kind of want to say it's based on a Stephen King story, but I don't think it is. The whole 2-hour running time on television is a guy driving down a highway in California and a semi-truck trying to run him off the road. And he'll like go, and then he'll think he loses him, and he'll stop for gas, and then he'll get back on the road, and there's the semi-truck. And then he'll gun it, and the semi-truck will gun it, and he'll try to lose him.
Did it subvert your expectations?
It did, because it went on for fucking 2 hours.
Okay, well, that's fine, but that's not a Star Wars movie.
Right.
It's not the middle act of a trilogy.
No. It was a clever little, almost art house film. It was.
But it's, again, not the... it's not... Yeah. And that's why, like, that could be a great episode of The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah.
Look, nice 30-minute episode of
The 30-minute episode, sure.
I mean, like, if you look at Mandalorian episode 2, the whole plot was him, like, the Jawa steal his shit.
Yeah.
He's got to get it back.
Right.
And then it's just like... And then it's like the ordeal of what he has to do in between that. That's a whole episode. But it's an episode, and that's why it works as TV. The expectations are as high. It's 30 minutes, and next week there'll be a new episode.
Right.
When episode 2 comes out, or episode 8, the second part of a 3-part movie series with all these new characters and like the whole trilogy. Like these movies are, it's like if these movies bomb, you're not going to see a Star Wars movie for years. It's like the Star Wars series as a whole, like Mandalorian's like a different story. It's TV. It's on Disney Plus. It's like, but as a movie theater option, it's like. If episode 8's a failure, episode 7's a failure, episode 9's a failure, that's really going to fuck up movies for the future, for Star Wars, and in general, like other movies in that genre.
Yeah.
And it's going to make audiences like, theaters sketchy, and they're like, you know what, we don't want more of that. We want more of this.
True.
And then you get like more Fast and Furious movies or something.
Right, yeah, well you do. That's exactly what happened.
Well, and again, a chase in a Fast and Furious movie is okay, I guess.
Well, yeah, but look, episode 8 had a chase scene, and it had during the chase scene an excursion to a gambling planet or something.
Okay, yeah, so like
weird.
Yeah, so like Finn does all that, and they're able to like destroy the dreadnought.
Yep.
but he goes back to the ship, and Leia's like super pissed at him and demotes him.
Yeah.
And then like in that time period, Kylo Ren like flies his TIE fighter thing, and they basically, oh, that was it. I guess they were able to escape, but then you find out like they have him tethered on a string.
Oh, jeez. Fuck that.
Well, okay, so there's a theory, and this is actually like could be kind of cool, but they're not going to do it. You ever heard of Nando versus movies? Nando versus movies is a guy on YouTube. He does like these things where he rewrites parts of movies.
Oh, okay, cool.
And he sometimes they're good, sometimes they're terrible.
Sure.
Sometimes I like him. He has a good one for episode 8.
Okay.
Rose, the character Rose.
Yeah, the mechanic.
Okay, so Rose, you're introduced to Rose, and she is a maligned character. Like, the people.
Well, that's like lookism and a bunch of
it's
other
not that.
stuff.
People just fucking hate her. I think they hate it because episode 7 establishes a strong relationship between Finn and Rey.
Yes.
And you don't have that in episode 8.
No.
Rey is off on whatever fucking planet Luke's on.
Right,
trying to get him to do
right.
shit. And she does not see Finn until the last 2 minutes in the movie when they're on the Millennium Falcon. So Finn is sidelined. He wakes up from his coma in his little balloon suit. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's like play for laughs. He's like walking around like in a big leaky diaper.
Yeah.
He's like, what's going on? Where's Rey?
Right.
And you're like, Rey's like off doing
her
something.
thing, yeah.
So, and then he find out like he's trying to, he's going to escape.
Okay.
He's kind of doing this thing where it's like he hasn't evolved from the first movie. He's kind of still on the run. But he just wants to find Rey because he has really... Does he have devotion to... He has more devotion to Rey than he does the Resistance.
I would say so. I think they're probably synonymous in his head.
Well, in his head, Rey means more.
Yeah.
Rey has saved his life. Rey is his friend.
Right.
The Resistance is just something... He doesn't want to be part of the system.
No.
He didn't want to be part of the First Order. And he doesn't want to be part of the Resistance. He's just like...
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And, I don't think it makes him a coward. It makes him just like... That's... His priorities are Rey's his priority. He kind of knows where she is, so he tries to get an escape pod, and that's when Rose shows up.
Yeah.
And Rose is crying because her sister
was
the bomber that died. She was holding that bracelet. She has the other half.
Yeah.
And that's when, like, I don't know, she, like, shocks him.
Yeah,
because
sure.
he's, like, escaping. I guess she says, like, a whole bunch of other people escaped. But then, like, she comes up with this theory that, like, they're being... tethered or something. That like the Empire this has never been done in Star Wars or anything, that you can't track people through light speed. Like light speed's like almost like you're going through a portal.
Right.
So the Resistance, the First Order was able to follow them because they can track them.
Right, yeah,
so that's what creates that whole story, and that's why they have to go to that casino planet. So she says like, if we could get on like Snoke's, I'm going to call him Snorts. Yes. Snorts' ship. Snorts was my pug. I had a pug for a minute. I call him Snorts.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he's gone now. He didn't die. We had to get rid of him. He was shitting everywhere. Oh, just like Snoke.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, Snoke was shitting everywhere, so they cut him in half. So she, she has it all tethered on a string, and they come up with this bullshit. Like, if we get on the ship, we can, but we need a code breaker.
Yeah.
And that's like the scene with Maz Kanata. It's just like they just call her up,
right? And
it's like so stupid because you're just like they don't have the character in the movie at all. If you're not going to have her in episode 8,
right? Then why bother? Right?
Like it was just like, well, let's call her up, and she's like in the middle of like a
Travelocity.
I don't know. It was super dumb.
Yeah,
but like, so Nando versus movies has this theory that. To make her character better, her... That the tether on the string... There was no tether on the string. She was the tether on the string. She is a First Order spy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can see that.
And, the First Order is almost like... I don't know, you can almost make like a Lord of the Rings comparison. Mm-hmm. Like, what's his name? The main villain of Lord of the Rings. Not
Gandalf. Sauron, yeah.
He's getting all these, like... tribes and all these things from other lands. It's like they're almost like downtrodden, or like, and he's like, hey, you come with me, fight with me,
right,
and I'll raise you up,
and
we'll take down these fucking white guys.
Sure, of course. Yeah, that's just how it would work. That's just how
it's like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Racist story. It's a little tinge.
Yeah. No, I see that.
I
see that.
Lord of the Rings movies. Just a little bit Europe and like other lands. And here comes Sauron.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
hey,
oh shit.
I'll use you guys and I'll raise you up. So it's like, she talks about how she was like on these like on the casino planet.
Yeah.
When she's like on there and she wants to save those like weird big space donkeys.
Yep.
And she's like doggy, whatever they were. They were like kangaroo monsters. And she's like, me and my sister were on here, and like we're in this like downtrodden, we hate the system, or like I don't know, whatever. Like these people have like ruined our lives, and it almost would make sense. You could find, and Nando points out, he says like, and I highly recommend. I'm gonna butcher whatever he said, so just look it up, Nando.
Yeah.
Nando Rose on YouTube. Nando V Movie Rose, and he breaks it down pretty good. And he said that if you explain why she is a spy, it would also explain what the First Order is.
Right.
And it's like, the way the First Order works and how they attract people, and they're able to like get people from like, poor kids.
Right.
And, like, come in. Hey, you know what? You don't like things? Come work for us. It's like how like the Nazis were able to take over in a way. It's like you get people who are like, they can't get jobs all of a sudden, and it's like, oh well, you know what? Here's the real problem. Come work for us, and we'll.
It's a significant problem. Yeah.
So like, Rose is like, it could be kind of cool of why she would be a First Order spy.
Yeah.
And she is the tether on the string.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, I doubt it, but I don't know.
But they never even explain that. They go off on that stupid little adventure. I didn't mind the casino planet as much.
It just seemed to go on for a long time.
It was like, they ride that space donkey and that they save, and they're like, this is really what it's all about. It's like, no, it's not. You were supposed to be...
right?
You morons are supposed to... You got friends that are being, like, slowly chased down and blown up by their... It's not about saving space donkeys. It's like Star Wars turns into a PETA ad for a minute.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I was glad we were able to, like, hurt them or something.
Right, yeah.
Like,
hey.
they, like, wrecked the casino. With
people hurt things, man.
But they meet the worst character ever. The guy... The guy from Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Del Toro. He's playing the guy from Pinocchio.
Right.
The one that, like, Pinocchio, the original Disney cartoon, there's, like, that guy who, like... I guess gets him into trouble or something. You're introduced to Benicio del Toro's character because Finn and Rose get arrested.
No relation to Robert Benigni.
No, I don't know who Robert Benigni is. I know who Roberto Benigni is.
Oh fuck yeah,
Robert Benigni, some fucking guy who's made up.
Exactly.
Yeah, they meet Robert Benigni, and he's like, "What am I? I don't exist," and then he disappears.
It's like a combination of.
And then Benicio del Toro shows up, and he's just this like weird dude. He's got a weird hat, and he looks like the guy from Pinocchio, the cartoon. He's like, I don't know if you remember, watch the original Pinocchio?
Yes.
There's like this guy who like gets Pinocchio into trouble.
Sure.
And he just like looks like a, I don't know, like a hobo.
Yeah,
or
like
something.
like a malcontent. Yeah.
But that's like what Benicio del Toro's character reminded me of. And like,
I could see that.
And he would like stutter when he talked and like sound like a snake.
He had a very affected voice.
And this whole thing was like, he's not on the good side or the bad side. He's just like whatever.
Right.
But he ends up turning on him, so in the end he was on the bad side.
He's a bad guy.
He's a douchebag. I don't know. The whole storyline, like, while that was happening, their storyline ends up becoming pointless because they don't crack whatever tether.
Right.
They don't. They get caught on. They're dressed up as like admirals. Like they get onto like Snoke's ship.
Yep.
And they're in disguise, and then eventually they get caught. And that's that scene I told you where like. Fucking Phasma shows up.
Right.
But, like, Finn gets totally sidelined in this movie. He's in a dumb storyline.
Yeah.
He's not... His character, like... He's not with Rey at all.
Nope.
Like... I mean, it's, like... It's weird, because it's, like... You could say, like, okay, in Empire, Luke kind of goes off on his own thing, and Han and Leia go off on their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at least it almost made sense. Like, Luke, you knew, was going to be taught the Force, but in the beginning... It wasn't like that. The way the movie was, they split off. It's like the first third of the movie is like Hoth and then they escape, and that's when they break off and do their own thing. And then like the middle act is like they're on their own stories,
Yes.
and then the third act they come back together, even though Han's now a brick.
Yeah, true, very true.
But they all kind of sync back together. This movie, Finn does not see Rey at all, and then the end of the movie, Rey finally meets Poe for the first time.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Hey, my name's Poe. Nice to meet you." And you're just like, and you as the audience, you're like, "Wait, what?" And you're like, that's like if like. And then the Empire Strikes Back, Han's like goes to Leia and goes, "Hey, I'm Han."
Right? Yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
It's a very It is. I don't.
They just make there's like all kinds of bad choices. Like we knew from Episode 7 that in Episode 8 Luke would be training Rey.
Sure.
We kind of figured there would
be the case.
We figured there would be something that would be the case. Everything else we did not see.
Yeah.
It did not. It went in a direction that was just awful.
Well, it did seem, I don't know. Maybe you and I talked a little bit about this beforehand, about 7 and 8, and I was like, look, I liked 7 before. I think I like 7 more now. But the more I thought about it, the more I like 7 more now is mostly because of the errors made in 8.
I think the problem with 8 is that it's funny because I watch 8 and like I don't hate it. But I was like, finally, I haven't watched 7 in a while, and it's so stupid. I own the Blu-ray of 7. I watched it like one time. It was on like I think I had Stars, and it was on Stars a lot. And I think I saw it like 3 or 4 times, and I was getting sick of it. And I haven't watched them again. And then I got Disney Plus, and we said we were gonna start talking about it. I was like, cool. I'm too lazy to put the Blu-ray in.
Yep,
it's on Disney Plus. I'll watch it on Disney Plus. And I'll be honest with you, it made me hate. I didn't like 7 anymore because 8, everything that was supposed to be set
7.
up.
Yeah.
8, like they're like, man, we ain't gonna do any of that. So like, while all that fucking shit happened, it finally goes back to like, I mean, earlier in the movie, but like after like the initial like bomber run.
Yeah.
The camera finally goes to like where Rey was.
Right.
You would think that 8 would begin. Like if you were to end 7 on Rey handing the blade,
sure.
Wouldn't you just have 8 immediately begin?
Next scene, yeah.
Of Rey meeting Luke. That's how I would fucking begin.
Yeah. Well, I think that's how anyone would, except maybe Rian Johnson, right? Like, I don't know.
I guess the idea was let's begin it with a big space battle because we're not going to have that yet. You know, I don't know.
Whatever.
So Rey hands Luke the lightsaber, and it's the same silence.
Yeah.
Luke looks at it,
right?
And what does he do?
He like shocks it, right?
He just goes flick behind his head like as it's a joke, and he's just like,
right, which.
He's wearing these Jedi robes, and he just leaves, and he quickly puts on his like shitty hermit outfit that he wears.
Yeah, it's weird, like because like they made Luke into such a dick, you know. And I mean, I guess given the history, it was understandable, but like I would have more wanted to see him like tortured soul than
everybody was like this
aggressive, abrasive dick.
Everyone said like this isn't Luke.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, well again. Let's remember, 30 years has passed.
Right, that's a long time.
And life doesn't always go everybody's way. And I didn't mind that Luke would be I didn't mind it. It didn't bother me as much as, like, everyone, it's like, you're not going to get Luke going to the Tashi station, or Luke in his black outfit, or Luke, like, that Luke doesn't exist anymore, because that was 1983. It was like 30 years ago,
right.
And people age, and time happens, and shit happens.
Yeah.
And it's like Luke is hiding for a reason. Well, I wasn't shocked that Luke would be kind of like, leave me the fuck alone, I don't want to be bothered.
No, that makes sense.
And, you know, it's not like, oh, I've been hiding. But, and you know, they could have come up with another reason. They could have been like, I've been hiding because, you know, I'm protecting, like, the remaining...
I have all these problems. You know,
I'm trying to keep, like, whatever's remaining of the Jedi...
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it here, and I don't want the First Order to find it.
Luke had the weight of the world on him.
The galaxy.
Right. And he couldn't fathom the pain.
Well, no, but then, like, he's trying to, like, keep something hidden so Snoke can't get his hands on it.
Well, I mean, that's a fair point. You could see Luke saying to himself, like, look, I'm a weapon, I need to be put away.
Yeah, something like, exactly. I possess the knowledge that they want, or... this is what I'm hiding, but I'll teach you because you're younger and
right. I need to like stow myself away out in the middle of the ocean and
hang out with porks,
exactly,
and weird bird women,
right?
Nuns
won't be available to video chat. Leia, sorry. I know it's
I don't have good Wi-Fi
years.
here.
They
never tell me the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, whatever. They could have done something, but he's just like... So he's wearing these Jedi robes, and you're just like, wait, why would he be wearing them? And I think the whole reason why he was wearing them was because he always intended to burn this, like, tree down. He wanted to like burn down the tree that had like the sacred Jedi text.
Well, it was the library, right?
I don't know. They had the sacred Jedi text. I like that when Lil Kosiota shows up and he's like, "That was the sacred Jedi text." But like how he says it, it's so funny.
He's gonna burn it down, and then like fucking Yoda lightning bolts it down.
So like Rey shows up, and this is like right off the bat. This is the first major. Expectations of being subverted.
Yeah.
Luke puts on his shitty hobo outfit, and the thing is, like, I don't picture, even though he's an older man,
right?
He's like Obi-Wan just felt like a frail old man.
Yes,
Luke doesn't look like a frail old man.
No.
He's like pole vaulting across the thing. Yeah. He's carrying a giant fish on his back. He's just he's like a hobo.
Yeah,
he's like a hobo Luke.
Obi-Wan
I'm still waiting for that hobo Luke action figure. I haven't released it yet.
With a little knapsack.
Yeah. The stick with little red, white polka dots.
Obi-Wan looked like a broken man filled with regrets, and Luke looked like an angry man filled with regrets.
But he also didn't seem like an old man.
No, he wasn't.
He's older. He's got wrinkles.
He's like a
guy with a drinker's nose.
Right,
He's an alcoholic. He likes his
cauliflower ear.
He likes his boons and his Thunderbird wine.
MD 2020.
Yeah, and drink. He probably just eats jerky.
Sure.
But we actually find out what he does do is he drinks green milk from a disgusting dinosaur monster's tit. He's squeezing it, and it's like he's squeezing this bottle. It's the most disgusting scene in the movie. Vile. And then he just looks at her, drinking it, and he's like, yeah. And then like that gross milk just on his crusty-ass beard.
Doesn't he eat a raw fish, too?
No, I don't think you get that far. You don't see that. He does have the fish, and he's ready to do it, but that's when Chewbacca comes in. He's like, what are you doing in here, Chewbacca? And he's like, and then Rey's like, you gotta train me, and he's like, fuck you, bitch, I don't know who you are.
You're not the boss of me.
I'm just gonna suck green milk from a big-ass, gross dinosaur.
Maybe I'm wrong here. I'm beginning to see Luke's perspective on this.
When he drinks the milk, and he looks at her, and the milk's on his beard. He's like, yeah.
He's almost like, how you like me now, or something.
And that thing's just like, Right. Do you know that thing, again, not CGI?
Yeah, sure.
There's like a documentary that came with the Blu-ray.
Okay.
Of course, I bought the Blu-ray, even if I hate the movie or like it, I still have to buy it for Star Wars.
Yeah.
They had to fly that fucking thing into the island. It's actually like a 20-foot like animatronic statue. They had to fly it into the island and put that there, and it's just it's huge. Like they showed it in the movie. It's weird. It's it's big. It's big, but it's it's fucking gigantic, and it's like, hey Ryan, we gave you a $200 million budget.
Right. How much did you spend?
But there's $30 million for lactating dinosaur monster. Yeah. What's up with that?
Hey.
Oh, it's gonna, trust me,
it'll kill.
Everyone's gonna love that scene. Everyone's gonna love that scene. Luke's gonna squirt milk into an old Mountain Dew bottle, an old mellow yellow 2-liter bottle that he had laying around. He's gonna squirt that milk. He's gonna look at the camera, and he's gonna drink it and go, yeah, and it's gonna be oozing on his beard. And then the camera's gonna go to that.
From that.
And then the camera's gonna go to the dinosaur, and it's gonna go. And That's when you know you got the audience.
Yeah, that's when you know. Look, we can do whatever. All right, you're gonna buy a ticket. These fuckers are gonna buy a ticket.
Little known fact: they were gonna bring that Dinosaur Park character back in the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, right. Why wouldn't you? Like it worked once.
Right. It was gonna be on the Millennium Falcon in the end. Ray would be like, "Oh, hey guys, I brought drinks."
Right.
And squirts it.
Like fucking green milk.
The thing just goes.
Fuck.
And then the movie ends.
The end. Right. Roll credits. All right. Well. Yeah.
I wish. I think it would have been great.
I'd have appreciated the artistic integrity, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah, it was like,
fuck.
But it just says, fuck you.
That would have been good if it was like in an alien language, but the translation was fuck you.
No, it's fuck you. And that's it.
Well, yeah. All right, well.
So, okay.
Okay.
Whoa. So then, so that's what Luke's doing. I do like the line when Ray says to her, it's like, you know, about you can't train me. She's like, not like you're doing much with your day. I see what you do. Yeah. Which I thought was pretty funny. But like, he's like, fine, I'll train you. I'll teach you 3 things.
Yeah.
And then he like never teaches her shit.
I don't know. He seems like a real bad teacher. And, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why Kyle Ben Solo, like...
He became a genocidal man.
He was that shitty of a teacher.
Right.
So there's, like... Well, there's a cutscene that's actually really funny. I kind of wish they kept it in the movie.
Yeah.
So, like, in that... You know the scene when she, like, confronts him?
Yeah,
they fight with sticks?
Right.
The funny thing is, like, the joke about Episode 8, too... There's not one single lightsaber fight in the movie. Not one lightsaber.
Oh, okay.
Not one single lightsaber clashes in Episode 8.
Huh. Oh, yeah.
Because
I mean,
even when Luke shows up in the end in 8, he's a hologram.
Right.
So he never...
Right. It's not a real saber. Yeah.
Right. So he doesn't really fight him, and so in the cutscene, you know, when they fight with sticks, and she's mad at him, and she's like, "I'm leaving. I'm going on. I'm going on Millennium Falcon, and I'm going to go back and help my friends because you suck or something."
Right.
In the original version, one of the lessons I guess he teaches her or something is like she sees a fire in the distance or something. She's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like those nun characters, like the Luke or something's like, "You got to go save them" or something like that. Like it's pirates or something. Yeah. So she like flies down it, like she runs down there with all her might, and she brings Chewbacca with her or something, and she like tries to save the day. She like breaks through again. It's like, you know, she keeps breaking shit. Like, when she breaks the rock and it like crashes down at things, and they're like, whatever. So she goes there. She breaks down like a door or whatever, and she's like, "I'm here to save the day." And the joke is that it was just like a party.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
No, but I remembered...
it's not in the movie at all. It's a complete cutscene.
Someone was talking about this on Slate.com.
Okay. Yeah, it's on the Blu-ray. You can find it probably on YouTube. And then, like, Luke shows up cracking up. Because he, like, tricked her. He was, like, fucking with her. And he's, like... It was like a prank almost. Like, it just, like, played more into it. He was just, like, you know, trying to tell her, like, chill out. Right. Like... I guess it was almost like it was like a lesson in itself. And I know why they cut it out, because it's like... Well, I think she leaves from that.
Yeah. But it would have been nice to see, like, that type of teaching, because that's how... It's not exactly how Yoda taught Luke, but it's, like, in the same vein.
But he's, like, fucking with her. It's, like, it ends up being, like,
Yoda really... fucked with Luke, didn't he? I mean, like...
technically.
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning.
Right.
When he, like, you know, pretended to be a little Muppet. Right. And then he ended up being a really serious Muppet, as opposed to a goofy Muppet. Right. So whatever. She has like they alluding to moments, like there's that scene where they have their own version of the cave. Right. There happens to be like a shithole in the ground. Mm-hmm. Luke, like points to it. It's like he's like, that dark hole down there, that shithole.
Right.
That's where the Empire. That's where like the evil is, or something. For some reason, there's evil on this island, and it's in this little wet shithole.
Yeah,
that's in the ground. And I guess she goes in there, and she tries to confront herself, and this is where this is like probably one of the better scenes in the movie, because she's trying to see like, there's like a whole bunch of her.
Yes. Like in a funhouse mirrors.
And and she's looking and you see a shadow, and it's like two people, and then it just becomes one.
Right.
And she's kind of explaining, like, she thought it would explain who she is and where she comes from. Because the whole thing is, this trilogy is, what is Rey? That's the big mystery.
That's the big mystery.
And let me tell you, if Rey ends up being nothing, then that's going to be another reason why this, like... I didn't fart. That was a chair.
Yeah. Right. No,
so that was the dinosaur monster.
Yeah, it is kind of like a riddle she needs to solve, right? Like
what?
What you were just saying.
Yeah, well, like that scene was kind of cool. Like the funhouse thing,
right?
And then the other thing that they do in the movie, which is kind of cool, is her like weird syncing up with Kylo.
Yeah,
she has these weird like conversations with him, like weird. They can kind of see each other, but they don't see where they are. You
don't know if they're like if it's like astral projection where they're like can touch each other. I mean, not that it's like that, but you know that they're there.
Well, there's that scene where they are reaching out, and that's when Luke comes in.
Yeah,
and he like destroys the HUD or whatever. And
but
he's like, no,
you don't get to know what is really going on before Luke destroys it.
We don't know if they did touch, would that like bring her there, bring him there. With cross the streams, which would be terrible, as we learned in Ghostbusters.
Right.
And that's when Luke and Rey have their little fight, and she leaves. But like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think of? I mean, like,
I don't know. Like, look, if you sat me down, do you like 7? I love 7. Do I like 8? If 7 didn't exist, I would love 8. If 8 didn't exist, I would love 7. You know, they just don't work well together.
No, they don't. They're not.
That's the problem.
And the problem, too, is, like, 7 ends on such a cliffhanger that it relies on 8 so much to continue the story, and it doesn't do any of that. It's just like, it kind of does. But it's like, okay, fine, I'll do that, but I'm gonna ignore half the shit that you set up in 7.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like, disregard that. I'm going to put new characters in. Right. I'm going to put in...
it doesn't fail, but it doesn't
put in
succeed.
SJW agenda, as Alex Jones said.
I guess I
highly recommend everyone watch Alex Jones review of Episode 8. Is the most insane...
I'll bet.
It's like Rose represents communist China.
Nice.
It's everything. It's so funny. But honestly...
Yeah.
That like all those like right wing trolls and all those like I call them like fake geeks and right wing geeks, like they all took that debate of Alex Jones and they took that and they brought it into like their own little bullshit. I will say the one thing about these movies, unlike regardless of what you say or not,
right?
I've seen a lot of like right wing geeks sort of they like weaponize this movie.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Like it's like they've taken like this type of movie, like geek culture or whatever, and they're like, it's almost like they're just trying to like suck people in, you know, into bullshit.
Right. I mean, they absolutely do that. For whatever reason, that genre has like a lot of that type of person in it, you know?
I don't think it... Well, what do you mean?
Well, like... I don't know. Maybe it's just because I like that genre so much. I'm often in it. And I notice a lot of those types of people kind of like lurking on the periphery. You know, but I mean, now that I'm saying that out loud, maybe there is like a weird percentage of the quilting Reddit subject, you know, that
I just think it's this weaponized, you know, it's just like, how do you get a movie or a you know, type of thing that people like, and it fails on that, and you use it and say, look, you know, the movie sucked because Disney and Ryan Johnson were trying to shove an SJW agenda down, which I thought was like super ridiculous.
Sure, yeah.
And again, I blame it all on her dress.
That dress,
right? We would not have Donald Trump as president, which makes no sense because he was already president at that point when the movie came out.
I'm willing to believe that.
I am too. I 100% endorse that.
Yeah.
Everything, it all makes sense. It's
right.
It's all Hodor's dress.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's really bizarre. It's a strange thing. It's like I find there's like a commonality among certain like Ben Shapiro's, because I've watched his review of the movie, which again is hysterical.
Yeah, I'll bet.
They're playing off my nostalgia. mine. Like his review is hysterical.
Stabbing his foot like he's fucking Rumpelstiltskin or something. Yeah.
But there's a commonality among it. It's all about like how they're ruining something. They're taking it. It's just like you play off any nostalgia. I mean, that's what a lot of these like right wing, they play off nostalgia. They're like, look, the things you like are being ruined by these SJWs. Yep. They're being ruined by this. You need to
pass this ordinance.
But they ignore the fact that the original trilogy, like, you can then make the same argument about Empire Strikes Back. Like, in the 80s, what did they get? Like, those people were like, oh, look at Lando. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can say the same thing. Or, like, by Return of the Jedi, when there's even more diversity in Return of the Jedi. Like, Star Wars is like, I mean, the first Star Wars movie, again, white as fuck. And what's funny is, I read a review of Star Wars.
Oh, that's funny.
What?
Was it a review of Star Wars? Are you talking about from
back in the day?
What did it say?
And it said like one of the main complaints was talking about how fucking white it was, like how it had zero diversity. And this is in the 70s.
Right, that's a big problem if they're saying that in the 70s.
I mean, think about it. This was 77. You had a cultural revolution already. Civil Rights Act happened over a decade before. It's like, and then here comes this movie. But I mean, everyone loved it though. Everyone loved it, and. Then Empire comes and they're like, okay, hey, we made we're going to diversify it a little bit. We got one black guy, Lando. There you go. Then, oh, did you see The Mandalorian? One of the best Easter eggs in that movie. I mean, that show.
Which one?
You know the part when he gets the money?
Yeah.
And they give him that thing?
Right, the plate.
The thing that it's holding it.
Yes.
Do you know what? Okay, that's a direct reference to a joke. Okay, so in Empire Strikes Back, when Lando tells everyone to flee, the Empire's taking over Cloud City, there's this dude running with basically an ice cream maker. It's called an ice cream maker. And the joke was, like, he has his own action figure. Right. It's turned into, like, a meme over the years. Funny. So the joke was that in The Mandalorian, he hands him this thing, which is the ice cream maker. Yeah. But now it all makes sense. That guy wasn't running with ice cream.
Right.
He was basically running with his safe. Yeah. He obviously had, like, jewels and money in it. So I thought that was, like, a really fun way, like, how The Mandalorian's, like, how they mentioned Life Day in the first episode.
Right.
Which is
the birthday,
No, Life Day is from...
shoot, that's right, yeah.
That's from
the Star Wars
Christmas special.
Yeah. That's funny.
Okay, so... I know we're talking about episode... I mean, we're going to wrap this up soon, but, like, episode... Okay, so, this new trilogy has been weaponized in some way, because it's easy to, though, because it's not that good. So you get people angry.
You don't feel bad about doing so. Like, if you have a really treasured childhood memory, even if it's a bad one, you, like, don't want to badmouth it just because it feels
Well,
bad.
That's what they're doing, though. They're playing off, again, nostalgia.
Yeah.
For something that didn't, like, look what they're doing. Like, Rose and all these characters. Right. They represent, like, their Star Wars is trying to push an agenda down their throat. And it's like, I mean... Yeah, and if they are, like, is it... Like,
you can always back out, right?
Like, it's just a fucking movie. Calm down. But, like, so... Then there's Rey, like I said, leaves Luke. Yeah. And goes off, and then she flies to, like, Snoke's ship. Which I guess she happened to know where it was.
Yeah, I didn't understand that part. I mean, I
like, they were able... Like, Chewie and Rey were able to fly away, and they knew... where they were, which makes no sense. How would they know where they were? Because they were not in the same place. Remember, they were traveling through light speed. A whole other part of the galaxy at this point. So Rey, heads back to the ship. Mm-hmm. Again, how did they get there? I have no fucking clue.
Who knows?
I don't know. Did, like, Kylo tell them where they are? Because, like, they're talking and... Like,
I don't recall that. When I watched this again, I watched the last two movies. I watched 7 and 8 over the last couple days, and I knew the basic plots, and I knew the characters, and I kind of knew what I wanted to say. I just watched them again without really, like, nitpicking them.
Yeah.
I was just like, let me reacquaint myself with these movies. And so a lot of the things that probably bugged me the first time, I didn't pay a ton of attention to this time. So I don't remember like specific to that.
I do, they bring up like the whole thing, like how one of the big plots of the movie too is you find out like what happened to Luke training Kylo. You get like little hints, and they show like a scene in the past where Luke is like standing over like Kylo sleeping, and he says he senses the Force, and they show a scene where it's like different interpretations, and like Luke is like, I don't know if he was like gonna kill him or do something about it, but then like Kylo wakes up, blows up the house, and that's when like the temple gets or whatever.
I think Luke said to Rey, "I was going to kill him, but I didn't do it." Like
so then Kylo's version though is like Luke is straight up evil,
right?
In this scene. Like he looks like
that's probably true from his perspective.
Bilbo Gollum scene in
totally.
First Lord of the Rings movie when he's like, like. And that's how Luke looks. And I thought that was kind of like an interesting little thing.
Oh, definitely.
There's like interesting things in this movie. I do like some of the things. Like, okay, so Yoda shows back up.
Yep.
When Rey leaves, Yoda's like, Luke's got his torch. He's gonna blow. He's gonna burn down that tree.
Oh yeah.
And then Yoda's like,
right.
He's like back, and he's like goofy Yoda, and he like does a weird thing where I guess. Hey, listen, Obi-Wan said, strike me down, become all powerful. I guess there's some truth to that then.
Sure.
So Ghost Yoda can call down lightning and blow up the tree.
Yeah.
And Luke was like, I'm going to burn it down. And Yoda's like, fuck you, I'll do it for you.
Lightning bolt time, right?
And he's like wiggling his little feet. It's like really, and he's like, he's back to being a puppet. He's puppet Yoda. And I was like, people like brought up like this thing and like, did it look good? Okay, it looked better than Episode 1 Yoda.
Sure, absolutely.
Episode 1, the original Episode 1 Yoda before they made him CGI, looked god awful.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they made him CGI, and I always thought that was one of the better effects in the prequels was CGI Yoda. It looked good.
Yeah.
This puppet though, it's like you could tell it looked like the Empire puppet, and and then he's like, the sacred books, huh?
Right?
Page turners, they were not. It's like the sacred Jedi text.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yoda's like trying to teach him a lesson about like, you can't teach people.
Something.
Like
it's a little convoluted, but it's basically like you got to let go of the past and allow the future to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because I'm like, okay, so people like, did the puppet look bad? Like somehow it looks worse than Empire. And I was always like, okay, what made the puppet look good in Empire? And I'm thinking the reason why the puppet looks so good in Empire, even though it was a puppet, was because of the surroundings.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because Yoda's colors
they're very
the color
muted.
palette of Dagobah. It's like
that's true.
Slight green, the green moss everywhere,
swampy,
the tan robe. Like his colors,
browns and tans and oranges and sage.
He fits in perfectly with the landscape.
Yeah, it's true.
And he put a Yoda in something that's not, and then he becomes something
works
else.
less. Yeah.
Now, if you have a baby Yoda, though, it just looks amazing everywhere. Baby Yoda looks amazing.
You put that shit in the Mall of America, right? Put Baby Yoda in an IKEA. You look awesome.
Then you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Old man boomer Yoda?
Yeah.
Fucking boomer, old ass boomer Yoda.
Right. Sitting there yelling at kids to get off his swamp.
Yeah.
Off my swamp, you will.
Kids,
right? Yeah.
Instead of lattes you drink, maybe save money.
Right.
Hey, Boomer Yoda, houses weren't as expensive.
Right. That's because I wasn't buying avocado toast.
Avocado toast instead. College, you'll be.
Right.
College was free back then.
Yeah.
Fuck you, kid. I'm gonna vote for Trump. Fuck yourself. Fuck the environment.
Make Dagobah great again.
Look at Boomer Yoda. Racist Boomer Yoda.
Right.
drinking avocado toast. I love that. Maybe, safe space you need. Don't you need a safe space, Yoda? Right. Your Fox News.
Right, little Yoda Carlson. Watching Kathy Lee and Yoda Cobb.
Was it? No, what's that guy? Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, Yoda Carlson.
Yoda Carlson, and what's the other one? Judge Yoda Piro.
Yeah, right.
Fucking Boomer Yoda.
Fucking man.
Okay, so
all right. Well,
we got an appearance from Boomer Yoda, and it was sweet. I always thought, like, okay, you know how, like, why people are like, why is Yoda acting so goofy? Like, why is he like the goofy Yoda from Empire before he becomes serious Yoda? You know, it was just like a little ruse he was playing with them. Why would he wouldn't naturally be like that. Right. You know, I'm Yoda, you know, but it's almost like perception too.
Yeah.
It's like the ghosts show up the way you perceive them. And that's how Luke will always remember him regardless of what a serious asshole he might have been to him.
Believe that, yeah.
He'll always be that little gremlin who got into a fight with R2-D2 over a stick, over a beef jerky stick.
Beef jerky,
mine.
Yeah, it's like a leprechaun. You know, he's like he right. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. It was cool. It was a cool little scene. But then we get to Rey's now on the ship, and Snoke's there. Now it's like the end of Return of the Jedi. And
yes.
Kylo's like brings him in and. I was like when Snoke's like, you got beat by a girl, and
right?
You're not trained,
not worthy.
You're not balanced. Right. You got beaten by a girl who never held a lightsaber before.
Yeah,
he's fucking the soy boy, libtard.
Right. Yep.
Avocado toast eating.
Yeah. Fuck that. Right.
Oh. One of the funnier scenes too in Last Jedi is when Kylo Ren doesn't have a shirt on.
Oh yeah.
But his like pants are so high up. Swole Kylo Ren. My favorite meme was like they made him like super wide.
Like
he's got a tiny little
Dorito chip or something.
So, like you meet. This is like the scene now with Snoke. Right. And like he does this weird thing to Rey, and I remember seeing in the trailer where he's like holding her up. He's not like shooting her. He just has her like up. She's like, and he's like, and somebody put was it browsers or something?
Oh yeah.
Like some porno logo on the corner.
Right.
With her screen. You know what I'm talking? That was like a meme when they released the trailer.
I saw it on Reddit.
Oh, I'm not shocked that it's on Reddit.
Yeah, right? Fuck. I remember that one, yeah.
Alright, well, whatever. They, you know, he's doing his old little spiel, and he's telling, like, Kylo, strike her down.
Right.
You know, who your true enemy is, and then, like, but Snoke was an idiot, had the lightsaber there. And,
that's hilarious.
And then Kylo turns the lightsaber and cuts this fucking MacGuffin in half.
Right, yeah.
And he's like, I guess so, it's just a MacGuffin.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a shame because he did start out like a lot of things in this.
Episode 7, it's like this mysterious big hologram. Deal, yeah. What the fuck is he? You only get like 2 scenes with him. Mm-hmm. It's like he's mentioned a couple times. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is Snoke? And like I said, opportunities.
Sure.
Snoke could have just been a ruse.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been cool if it was just like, why does the Empire have to be run by a monster man?
Yeah.
Why can't you be run by like
an administrator?
A 12-year-old kid.
Sure.
a 12-year-old kid playing Call of Duty saying racist words.
Right, yes. Which probably would have worked out about the same for the First Order, but yeah. All right. Well,
Then they had that fight scene. Have you ever watched a dissection of that fight scene?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you know what I'm talking about?
Like on YouTube where they talk about...
all the errors, like how...
Oh, no, I have not seen that.
All right, so the fight scene when they kill Snoke, and then all of a sudden, like his like guards start attacking him.
Right.
There's like so many. When I first saw it, I thought it was kind of cool.
Oh.
And then someone like slowed it down and pointed out how horrible the choreography is.
I'll have to look at that.
There's a scene where like Rey drops her lightsaber, and the character that she's fighting had to do something, and it's super obvious. Like any normal person would just kill the person.
Right.
Like, okay, well, you did this, so I'm going to stab you here.
Yeah.
And he like kind of like almost like picks it up and gives it back to her. Like there's like some bad like what's he like. I've watched like all different ones on it. Like one of them was like done by stuntmen, and they brought up
That's
like
funny.
how like why are they doing this? Someone's getting kicked into another one.
Right.
It's like really sloppy when it's all said and done.
Oh,
it's like when you
that's
watch it
funny.
in the theater the first time, you like see it, and there's like they're fighting a bunch of guys, so it's like you can't really tell. You know, you're just in the moment. It's like they just killed the emperor of this trilogy in the second movie. You're like, what the fuck? And now it's time to fight those characters from Alice in Wonderland. The
cards, the playing cards.
The playing cards, yeah, that's what they look like to me.
Yeah, basically,
now they have to go fight those things, and you're just like inundated, so you don't pay attention to like the details. And like I said, I hired recommend you can watch it on like find it on YouTube.
Right.
It's like look up like VFX artists or like stunt double.
Yeah.
Stunt performance critique, and they talk about it, and it is super funny. They just point out like it's actually pretty bad.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
So then, like after all that's done, that was that scene when Holdo shoots the ship and breaks it in half.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
It is. For some reason, that scene makes people so angry.
Yeah, well,
they're like, "That's not. You can't do that."
Right? Yeah. Again, I wasn't trying to like be in science class.
Why can't you do it though?
Yeah,
it's a movie.
Right, do whatever you want. You can't have laser swords either, right?
You can't shoot a what was it, the size of a womp rat?
Right, yeah. Come on.
That bends down. Blasts don't bend. Yeah. They don't go, whoopie-doo. Oh, do I turn here? Self-guided missile blast that turns on a 90-degree angle?
No.
But I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I did.
They're like, oh, you can't do that, and they're going to do that all the time.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like,
why not?
Yeah, that'd be great if that's all they do. Episode 9 is just
like
people ramming their ship's light speed, and the Death Star's like, God damn it. They're like, I didn't know they would do that again. They just put them on self-pilot. They're like, that's the end of the movie.
It's like roller derby. Yeah.
So, in that scene, though, like, I don't know, the ship breaks in half or whatever. I guess somehow everyone survived, though. Kylo tells like Rey, she thinks like, okay, she's like, come with me, get off the ship, join me, and Kylo's like, why?
Yeah,
it's like, I'm in charge now.
Yeah.
Like, join me, like screw the past, we're the new shit.
Yeah,
and honestly, like to me, I didn't mind that. I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool actually. It's like this new empire is not being run by a monster man.
Right.
It is being run by what I think should have been ran by to begin with.
Yeah.
Some fucking millennial avocado toast eating.
Yeah.
Latte drinking. Guy on student loans. It's all his fault.
Right.
Wanting education and everything. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I thought you were going to become good all of a sudden.
Yeah, which wasn't ever going to happen, but
right.
At least not in 7 or 8.
But everyone's like, I remember when he says to her, like, oh, your parents, you come from nothing, your parents were just
drunk traders or whatever.
Booze money, hooch money, basically. And she and everyone got mad at that, and I'm like, well, first of all, like, he says that to her, but like, they're not beholden to that.
Right, yeah.
He could be lying to her. You know why? Because he's a bad guy. He's a gaslighting bad guy.
Right.
Who's basically like, hey, you're a piece of shit who comes from nothing, but I don't see you that way.
Right.
Why don't you come with me? I'll treat you good, you fucking piece of shit that comes from nothing.
Yeah.
I'll be the one that raises you up. And, it's like, he's fucking with her.
Oh, yeah.
And he probably doesn't know who she knows what she is in some way. I think,
in some way,
Force,
yeah.
But he doesn't know, I don't think he knows what she is. Or if he does know what she is, he's going to, if she is truly, the Emperor's clone or some representation of the Force, of course he's going to try to bring her down a peg because he knows that in the end she could probably fucking destroy him if she ever, really reaches her, true potential.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't mind that scene.
Yeah, me neither.
And then... I don't know, so after Holdo did that, they were able to escape to a planet that kind of looked like Hawk. But it was made out of salt.
Right. Yeah.
And the guy had to lick the ground to tell you it was
Yes.
salt.
Yeah.
It's like some guy,
weird.
whenever I go on a new planet, the first thing I do is
lick the ground.
I lick the ground
to
see what it tastes like.
It's the spacefaring way.
Every time I moved to a new city, like when I moved to Texas, first thing I did was I stick my finger in the ground, licked it, and said,
Texas tea. Black gold.
oh, that was dog turd.
All right, fair enough.
So, I don't know, whatever. It's like they had to tell the audience, hey, no, this isn't Hoth. I do like the effect, though, of the red it would leap on.
Oh, that was really pretty,
I thought it was pretty.
It was. The whole
scene. Like a Christmas Wonderland.
Well, I thought
it was like peppermint.
It was just...
Peppermint.
That whole scene was shot really well, and it was, like, striking and visually appealing.
So then, like, they're like, they gotta go behind this bunker.
Yep.
For some reason, they get in these like really shitty vehicles that are like falling apart as they're riding them, thinking that they're going to be able to stop the invading force.
It makes no sense.
They have these new like AT-ATs that are like triple the size, and they have like a cannon that they put down that I guess is the equivalent of a Death Star blast or a mini Death Star blast. Sure. They said it would blow up the bunker. And then for some reason, Finn in this scene is like, I'm going to sacrifice my life and I'm going to fly into it and stop it. And then Rose crashes into him, almost killing both of them, and says the power of love will... It's really stupid.
Sure.
It's like possibly the stupidest scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And she like for some reason kisses Finn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like the blast goes off right it, but Finn's just like, "Why are you kissing me?"
Right.
Like it's like the most like unreceptive kiss. She's like she's like dying, and he's like, "What the fuck did you do that for?"
What's going on? Yeah.
I don't know. She said something about. She said something that was like the complete opposite of everything. Her whole philosophy about like, oh no, screw this whole thing. I want to kiss. Give me some nookie. A weird one, right? Give me some nookie, Finn. Yeah. And he's just like, weird timing.
Yeah.
And then he drags her ass back. Yeah. Somehow he's able to drag her ass back. Like,
right. It's fair. I mean,
and then there's those little foxes.
Oh,
those little crystal foxes.
Yes. Those were amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
they were awesome looking.
Cool. Yeah, they were awesome looking. Yeah. That's about it. I mean, I don't know what else. They didn't do it. I mean, I wish it sang. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Okay, so then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Grecian formula Luke shows up.
Yeah.
And he looks a little different. He's cleaned up.
Yeah.
You know, like a
more presentable.
Like
he combed his hair.
Like a 49er, gold miner.
Yeah.
Who traveled into the city after he found some gold dust, and he cleaned up, got a prostitute, and shaved down, cut his hair.
Oh yeah, I'm with
brushed
him.
his teeth. That's kind of what Luke did. He's looking a little younger. It's a little weird. Something's up. Mm-hmm. He's wearing an outfit that's kind of like the outfit in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
a little bit. It's like vague. His hair's shorter now because anytime I make sure I'm going to go for a fight, I gotta look good.
Hey,
I'm gonna cut my hair. I'm gonna shave my beard. I'm gonna dye it too.
Yep.
Because like you said, gotta look a little presentable.
Right.
When saving everybody. So he talks to Leia for a second. Mm-hmm. He says hi to C-3PO or whatever, and then he goes off. Kylo Ren's like, "What the fuck's he doing?
Yeah.
Blow that guy, and everyone just shoot.
Right.
Everything, like every ship,
a barrage of
and he just like wipes. I don't know. It's kind of corny, but like when he wipes his shoulder, I kind of like. It's cool, whatever. Yeah. And then Kylo Ren just comes down. Mm-hmm. And Husk or whatever's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, no, I'm going to go down there because I'm a baby.
Right.
And then he goes down there and then they fight, but Luke leaves no footprints.
Yeah. Which was real surprising at the time. I mean, it's not surprising now.
Well, I didn't notice it right away. I'm like watching in the theater and they have like their little thing, and like whenever Kylo like drags across the ground, he leaves a red streak, but Luke leaves none because he's not really there.
Yeah.
And then, like, he goes to strike him, and his lightsaber goes right through Luke. And I guess it was a distraction.
Yeah.
And then we go to... Luke was never there.
Yeah,
and then it goes back to the island, and you see Luke floating on a cliff.
Right, yeah.
And he's like looking into the sun.
Right.
Which is kind of like a callback to what Yoda says to him when he's like, always looking off to the sun.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And like it's like a mirroring of him in episode 4 when he's looking into the sun. And then he like, I don't know, I guess making an astral projection of yourself across the galaxy takes a lot out of you.
I'll bet.
Especially somebody who's just been living off of green tit milk from a dinosaur monster.
Sure.
Eating fucking beef jerky, Thunderbird wine. I guess he's not in the greatest shape. So this took a lot out of him.
Yeah,
and then
naturally.
he floats away.
Yeah.
Or he disappears in his little key. I was kind of hoping the robot hand would go clunk.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
Like why would that disappear? Clunk.
Yeah.
I mean, might as well. There were so many dumb jokes in the movie anyway. They could have done that.
Yeah.
So, were you disappointed by Luke dying? Or is
I was okay with it just because of the nebulous nature of that character. He could just as easily show up again. I think that character's moved on to a wise elder spokesperson type of deal.
Like, you think he'll come back like a Gandalf the White type
I
thing?
could see that.
Like, do you think he'll be like a little different from other Force ghosts?
Yeah.
And he might be in episode 9 more than just
I
one
could
little
see that.
scene?
I could see him being like manifesting himself into like the world. You know, like I'm dead, I'm a spirit, but I'm going to be real for the next few days. You know, I mean, I could see that.
I'm on vacation.
Right, yeah.
Little known Jedi fact. I'm going to bring this in. This won't make anyone angry.
Okay.
Little known Jedi fact is if you do a good deed,
right,
you get to come back real for a week.
Yeah, right? Step on it, kids.
And then Obi-Wan's like, bullshit.
You can all eat food.
What?
You can all eat food. You can
all eat food.
Yeah, right?
Like eat shit?
Well, yeah, just like a generous offer.
And he'd be like, where's that tit milk?
Right.
Where's my green milk? Yeah. So, like, do you think he'll be back in episode 9?
Yeah.
Like, more than just, like, a little spirit to give some advice? Like,
I don't know about that. I'm afraid it's going to be a very minimal role. But I'd like to see a lot of them. You know, I'd like to see a lot of everybody. And, right?
That's gonna be an entire episode.
What do you think? What do you do?
I think it's going to be disappointing no matter what happens.
Yeah.
that episode 8 fucking was so disconnected from 7.
It was disconnected from 7.
In such a horrible way. And then, like, everybody's on the Millennium Falcon, they're just like, that's it. That's like the remaining of the Resistance.
Right.
And, which is weird because there's other characters coming back that were not in episode 8.
Yeah.
Because they're like actors that work with J.J. Abrams all the time. No, I'm not even kidding. There's these rebel resistant pilots are coming back.
Oh, yeah,
in 9.
Wedge is coming back.
No, not Wedge. No, I'm talking... Oh, is he?
I heard Wedge was coming back.
Oh, no, it's like it's a couple of the pilots. It's like an actor. I forgot. He was cool. He's an actor who's been in a bunch of J.J. Abrams stuff, and he had a small part in episode 7.
Cool.
And he's going to be back in 9, and it's just like, well, who the fuck were you in 8? And it's like, well, that I don't know, I want to get hired by that director or something.
That makes sense.
So they have to come up with some bullshit, like, oh, he was on the other side of the galaxy doing resistance stuff.
Right. A little recon.
A little resistance stuff, you know, a little... But, like, it is a disconnect. Like,
yeah,
I mean, like,
that's the fundamental problem.
Okay, so we'll just wrap this up, maybe spend like 5 more minutes. Honestly, what do you think is your predictions for 9? Not some bullshit. Jeez. Like, oh, well, I think the... I mean, like...
I think the Skywalker will rise. I think...
there'll be a rising.
No, I think... Look, I think you're going to get Rey's story resolved. And I think you're going to come to a place with, like, Finn and Poe, where,
Finn
like...
and Poe become one.
Where they go on and live their lives. But, look, I think Rey is going to... I think there's going to be a reveal. You know, I don't know what it is. And I think Kylo Ren...
Should be a fifth element.
Well, I could see Kylo Ren, like, sacrificing himself as, like, a matter of redemption.
Is he redeemable? I don't want him to be.
I
kind of don't want him to be.
He did not look redeemable in 7.
And in 8, it was like a ruse to trick her. And then in the end, he was just like...
Right.
No, it was a power grab. I used it as a way to kill Snoke.
Yeah, totally.
And then now I'm the supreme leader. It was a fucking power grab. So why should he be redeemable?
Yeah, he shouldn't. Honestly, he like killed a bunch of innocent villagers. I could see them trying to make him redeemable.
Vader killed younglings.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But he also was a scarred robot man,
right?
Who did it for the power of love.
Yes.
And Kylo's doing it for the power of
Benjamin.
Power. Yeah, Benjamin. He's never the no, but I mean, like, I don't. Why should he be redeemed? Why can't he just be a fucking?
Hey, that'd
bad
be great.
guy?
I mean, I'm down with that.
Why can't he just be? In the end of the day, it's like, you know what? Some people suck.
Well, kids
some
need
people
to
are
hear
rotten.
that story. Like, look, it's. I don't think we're doing. I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, but like, I don't think we're doing kids any favors, by saying like, oh, it's all.
Even the worst people can be
right. Like
one single act of good.
Like, you should like sit them down and say, look, if someone lies to you repeatedly, maybe they're just a liar. Like,
right. Maybe if someone is a genocidal maniac, right? You know what? There's a good chance.
Yeah.
They can become an elder statesman and go on MSNBC all the time.
Someone runs around using racist words, maybe they're just a shitty person. I mean, like, you don't need to redeem them. That doesn't need to be your job in life to redeem that person.
Right.
So.
I mean, are you going to be able to anyway?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably
they
not.
probably will just use it as a way to be even more shitty in a more deceivious way.
Right.
I mean, I hate to sound like a negative nabob.
No, but that's true.
Why can't Kylo just be an evil fucking piece of shit?
Yeah.
And that could be like the thing. It's like it
could be sad how he got that way.
Maybe that could be there could be a tragedy there.
Yeah.
But you could just say, I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, why? I mean, what's wrong with that? I
right.
don't, like, then you could say, listen, you know what? It was not the Darth Vader story.
Yeah.
It's not a repeat. It's like, there's families that have good people in it, and there's families that have shitty people in it.
Right?
I mean,
you know what good people are by what they do, and you know what shitty people are by what they do. It doesn't take much. It's not like a huge, right?
No, yeah, I know. Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Like, why? I mean, I know because it's like, it's Star Wars, it's fiction. But it's so funny how, like, everyone, like, that's what's funny about these movies. They're just movies in general. It's like everybody wants, they claim they want something different,
right?
But they don't. They want the same shit.
Same.
Episode 8 showed that. I mean, the problem in Episode 8 was that it just, from a story structure, where I'm mad at it from a story structure, is that it just kind of ignored everything that was set up in 7 and just said, I'm going to do whatever I want. The thing that bothers people about Episode 8 does not bother me. It doesn't bother me that Luke was an old curmudgeon on an island that was jaded from the world. People are not exactly the same as they are 30 years later.
Right, absolutely.
People age. Like, people change. I mean, I think that's the problem sometimes, though, when it's like, when you ask for something, you get something in return. And it's like, I want a movie like that. They didn't make a sequel to this movie. Now they're making it 30 years later.
Yeah.
Why is Han Solo so old? It's like because people age.
Right.
I mean, that's the problem.
That's
it's a movie starring real people.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe when they perfect that James Dean shit they're doing.
But even then, I mean, they got their work cut out for them, right? Like,
I don't know. I mean, it's like it's like what was the big complaint about Episode 7? They said that it was too much like it was like a rehash of Episode 4.
Yeah, I think they were going to narrow it down to 7 people, and they got that.
What?
Well, what are you talking about? When you?
I'm saying that the big complaint about Episode 7 was that it was a rehash of 4.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
And that it like.
And I didn't mind that. I thought that was okay.
And I think everyone, but the big complaint was, and I remember Lucas was like, "Oh yeah, I liked the movie when I first made it."
Right.
It's like, you know what, dude? You made Episode 1 through 3. Go. There's a reason why.
Sit down.
Yeah,
right.
sit down.
Yeah.
And then Episode 8 comes along, and they're like. Hey, you want something different, kids?
Right.
Here you go.
Enjoy.
Why is he like this? Why is this like this? Well, you asked for different things, and I gave it to you. But that's what. And then everyone. What's funny though about Episode 8, though, it's really not that different. It actually follows the same story structure as Empire Strikes Back.
Pretty much, yeah.
Rey going off and getting trained by a wise Jedi, even though doesn't really follow that.
Yeah.
They're escaping the Empire, just like the beginning of Empire. They are on the run, just like that long chase. They are on the run to an Empire, and everyone and it ends in a way where the rebels or whatever they are losing. The Resistance have been whittled down to like 8 people.
Right. Yeah.
That's
true.
It's really not much different. It's the same story structure. So that means episode 9 will begin with a Jabba type character.
Right. Sure.
And
an immediate danger. Yeah.
And then we'll have new Ewoks, which is cool.
Love it.
And there'll be another Death Star. As promised, it is actually in the trailers, there is the wreckage of the Return of the Jedi Death Star. In episode 9.
Yeah.
So I guess it'll just be Return of the Jedi.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but they have to have a big reveal at the end. I mean, it needs to end with something
I'm just
new.
kidding. I have no idea how this movie's going to be. I think it's going to be almost like, in the end of the day, I think it's going to be, again, a weird... Because this movie is supposedly the longest Star Wars movie. Episode 9 is going to be longer than
I saw
all
the
the
running
ones.
time this morning or
It's
something.
almost like as long as Endgame, Avengers Endgame.
Nice.
And which means that it almost will be probably its own trilogy in one movie.
Yeah.
Which honestly might not be a bad thing.
That might not be a bad thing. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I have higher hopes than are probably warranted.
I don't know. This is what are we at? 6 hours on this podcast?
We are.
I mean, we're going to be editing a lot of things in this. There's a lot.
We're 3.5 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, this can't be. Okay. Well, I mean, we could keep going on about this.
Yeah. Well, we put 2 movies in one, and I feel like there's still a lot we could cover, but this is I think we'll leave it here.
But we forgot the scene in the movie where BB-8's being fed coins by a weird drunk creature. That was a very integral part of the movie. That was pleasing.
Pretty amazing.
But that he was a slot machine.
Yeah, right. Well, he needed the money.
He did. All right. Well, on that note, I don't know what to think of these movies. I think at 9 we'll decide if these movies suck.
You're probably right. It's like we're trying to grade the essay halfway through it.
I think the biggest issue you can say about these movies is Finn does go through some growth in these movies. Rey really has no evolution in these movies. I mean, she sees some shit, some shit happens, but I don't know. I guess if they were gonna follow Empire, they could have done something cool. She loses a foot.
Right.
They're look, it's different from Empire. Luke lost a hand. Rey loses a foot. Her head gets cut off.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of cool.
That would have been good.
Her head gets...
Right, the end.
No, she somehow lives and she just has a robot head.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be there for that.
Yeah, would you? Yeah, okay. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And we're still going on about that forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Right?
Yeah. Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGoat, Facebook, YSGoat, and Twitter, YSGoat. Thank you, and have a great day.